Hello, my name is HQ of HQ Reacts. Welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream, and click the notification button for new content. Thank you.
Hello, this is HQ. Well. The world is better. We have found our killer. We have found the suspect. Wow. So here we are, waiting for justice to be served. Here we are.
The suspect in the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk was taken into custody less than 2 days after the attack at Utah Valley University. We are going to be speaking with a private investigator to break down all of the key evidence investigators say they have so far, including surveillance footage, the recovered rifle, strange engraved bullet casings, and messages investigators say the suspect sent to his roommate. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Bell. Major headline. They got him. Less than 36 hours after Charlie Kirk was gunned down during that campus event in Utah, authorities say the man they believe is responsible is now in custody. And if you're just hearing about this case for the very first time, here's the quick version. This, blew up everywhere, so I'd be surprised if you haven't heard about it. But we're talking about Charlie Kirk, the 31-year-old co-founder of Turning Point USA, a married father of two, and one of the most prominent conservative voices online. He was shot and killed September 10th during a college tour stop at Utah Valley University in Orem. There were roughly 3,000 people that had gathered on that campus, and there is video from that scene. It is disturbing. It shows Kirk under a canopy, surrounded by security and metal barricades, when somebody in the crowd asked him about gun violence, and seconds later, a single gunshot rings out. The bullet strikes Kirk in the neck. He collapses as people scream and scramble for cover, and Kirk was rushed to a nearby hospital but pronounced dead. Authorities believe that the shooter fired from the roof of a nearby building about 150 to 200 yards away. And then you fast forward to now. Today, Governor Spencer Cox stood at the podium this morning and made this announcement.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images.
So let's talk about the suspect. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson was arrested on September 11th on suspicion of capital murder, weapons, and obstruction charges, and authorities saying it was his own family who tipped off law enforcement after either confessing or strongly implying that he was behind it.
Well, his family was law enforcement. His father was law enforcement, and it would have been against his duty as a police officer or a used to be sheriff for him not to turn his son in, for him not to say anything.
Right? And FBI Director Kash Patel said that Robinson was picked up just 33 hours after the killing. So here's what we're learning about Robinson. Grew up apparently in Washington, Utah. And we got confirmation that Tyler Robinson had attended USU for one semester in the fall of 2021. Apparently, he was a pre-engineering student, possibly took a leave of absence. But family members say that his politics became quite hardened, that he specifically criticized Charlie Kirk, saying he was full of hate and that he was spreading hate. And the evidence, that is what we want to talk about right now. The evidence that investigators have laid out so far. It is a lot. We are going to get into that. But first, to help me break down what we have heard so far, I want to bring in private investigator Ashton Pack. Thank you so much for taking the time, Ashton. It's really good to see you.
Thanks for having me back.
How realistic is it that authorities were able to identify and apprehend this suspect in under 36 hours? Given this attack, given what we're talking about, the geography, the amount of people.
No, we're not going to give you guys credit. We're not going to give you law enforcement credit. It was a family member. It was a family member, a friend who turned him in. You all didn't have diddly. He was in the wind. You all didn't have enough to get him because his dad turned him in. That's the only reason why you caught that boy. That's the only reason.
The circumstances.
They trying to take credit for investigating. You wasn't gonna get him. You wasn't gonna get him if nobody would have turned him in.
Is that seem surprising to you? Is that just? It seems like just great police work, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's a solid police work. I mean, I was kind of shocked they didn't have him sooner. I think maybe they actually had him identified and they were just working on locating his physical, where was he actually hiding at? Shout out to his father. My understanding is retired law enforcement officer who, still kind of maintained his oath, and how hard that must be to turn your son in. But I think, all your FBI agents, all your Homeland Security investigators, your local state cops, the university police that were there conducting the, trying to locate this guy. It's probably a very solid team effort by Utah law enforcement.
Now, we've been on top of the story from the very beginning, and we are able to do that because of the incredible support that we get from our sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. This is America's largest.
I mean, they were no closer to getting him. Otherwise, why would they need to wait 36 hours? Why would they need to wait till Friday morning? No, he only got caught because somebody told on him. Okay, that's it. That's all. Because he was in the wind. They didn't catch him leaving the scene. No.
Injury law firm. This is a firm with over 1,000 attorneys. You know why they're so big? Because they win a lot. We're scanning the QR code on screen. One thing that was interesting is when they first held a press conference yesterday morning, they said there was surveillance. They weren't going to release it yet. And then later in the day, they release an image, a person of interest. Then we see the roof footage. I have to imagine that helped. I have to imagine they got a lot of tips and people, they were probably looking for somebody like this. It's what we saw in the Mangione case.
Yeah, that's a pretty secluded, not a secluded part of the country, but I mean, that's a tight-knit community up there in Utah. I think for the most part, most people know everyone. Right. So I think releasing those photos and the videos are a no-brainer. Somebody there probably saw those and immediately started making contact with law enforcement as to who the subject was.
Yeah.
Do you know why there might have been a resistance to release it immediately if they had it? And I'm not exactly sure what was going on, but I did wonder at the time whether there was a reluctance to release the footage immediately because you had already been seeing people on social media falsely attributing the shooting to certain individuals, and maybe they didn't want people running rampant. But also, don't you need the public's help?
Yeah, it's a delicate.
Hey, everybody calm down in the chat. Calm down. He was caught. Everybody understands where he came from. You read the thumbnail. What did the thumbnail say? A Christian man caught a right-wing Christian and unalived a white-wing Christian male. Don't blame it on nobody else, not BLM, not black women, not Democrats. Don't blame it on none of them. You blame it on the Christian right. That's where he came from. That's who has the blame for this.
Delicate line that law enforcement has to walk as a retired law enforcement officer. It was great to be able to release information to the public that we knew would help in a case, but at the same time, we needed to maintain the integrity of the prosecution. I think what we have here is you get the clickbait era of Twitter or X, depending on what you're calling it. Everybody wants to have the scoop. Everybody wants to be able to say they're the first to post the information about the shooter. And then these events, these tragic incidents are just so chaotic. And
well, we did have one thing right. We thought that it was somebody who was a professional. He wasn't a professional, but he did train with guns from when he was a young kid. So he was very good with guns. We do know that.
The moment, and everything is so emotional. And it just, I think law enforcement, once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you can't put it back in. So right. They're probably a little reluctant at first to post what they had in those videos. But as the investigation proceeded through the days after this attack, yeah, that they had to lean on that video surveillance and those pictures.
Right.
And from an investigative point of view, is there a challenge when you're talking about a public event like this and you have so many videos and you have so many potential witness statements? What are the challenges in interpreting all of that when you have a crowded public event where an attack takes place?
Well, I mean, we can discuss the issues of gathering evidence, what we call right of bang or post attack. I mean, the bottom line was we can also discuss where was the law enforcement presence at this community, at this college? Where was the counter snipers? Was a site assessment done? We can talk about those things.
No, Brenda, we are that's already been debunked. That was somebody else who put that on the internet. The scraping of the bullets. That was not him who did that. It had nothing to do with him. He had those bullets, but that had nothing to do with him. He was a Republican, Christian male Republican.
Things ultimately, you have mirrored video and people shooting video that you now need to capture as evidence. It's a challenge for law enforcement. This is where the feds and the FBI can kind of come in and stand up that large multiple terabyte hard drive that can store thousands of videos and pictures. That's where your partnership with FBI and federal agents come in. But yeah, it's a challenge for sure. And in the chaos of that moment, I can't even imagine the initial investigation, just trying to put the pieces together to try to locate the suspect.
So I want to go through the evidence with you, and I want to start with the video. So the FBI didn't just release still photos, they put out surveillance video, gives us a very clear look at this potential shooter's escape. And in the clip, you can see a figure dressed head to toe in black, sprinting across the rooftop at UVU just moments after the gunshot that killed Charlie Kirk. And the person runs to the edge of the building, hangs for a second, drops down to the ground, disappears toward a nearby wooded area. And that detail matters because not far from that spot, investigators later recovered what they called a high-powered bolt-action rifle wrapped in a towel. And next to it, those strange engraved shell casings that Governor Cox described today, which we're going to get into, they were there. So Ashton, based on your experience, how difficult is it to, set up that rooftop escape like the one seen in the video? I mean, first of all, it seems like this was definitely planned, right? Knowing where to set up. But to escape like that in that fashion is really alarming.
Well, I think your shooter is probably relying on the chaos that is occurring in the moment where Mr. Kirk was gunned down and that response there. So all eyes are on on that. People tunnel vision on that right there to the scene of the crime. You had the initial reports, people screaming and yelling at a man in the crowd who they thought was the shooter. We kind of saw the same thing when President Trump nearly was assassinated in Pennsylvania. The chaos of the moment, luckily with, of course, Secret Service counter snipers were able to take that shooter out. But it doesn't shock me that this guy was able to get away the way he did. My concern is, how did he get up there in the first place? Why was there no law enforcement or security detail assets tracking that, picking that up? A simple drone flying over the event could have picked up. It could have been your counter sniper contingent for law enforcement or for the private security detail. So, I know for sure when the after action report comes out, this young man will have conducted pre-operational surveillance. I will not be shocked that there is video of him in the weeks and the days before, maybe doing a dry run, getting up onto the roof, seeing how long it takes. The FBI won't release that information because that'll be part of the prosecution. And until that comes out in the court of law, this will all be months, maybe a year down the road. So I'm not shocked that he was able to get away.
Yeah, and they indicated that the surveillance footage actually maps out a lot of his locations and when he arrived on campus. So you match that with the description, and I mean, that is pretty compelling evidence to say the least. And look, I think you raise a number of interesting points because I did previous sidebars on, was there a lack of security? Why was there only a certain amount of UVU officers there? Did they have the help of local police or not? He only had his private security detail too. I know there was some sort of coordination, but was there lax security measures as well? The shooter, on this outside perimeter. I want to talk about the rifle. So you have this rifle that was apparently found nearby, wrapped in a towel. What does that tell you? I mean, abandoning this weapon at this location, what does that tell you and wrapped in a towel?
Well, if you're a bad guy and you are anticipating possibly being contacted by law enforcement, you're trying to effect an escape, not necessarily engage law enforcement. Usually we see active shooters who will either commit suicide once they'll either engage law enforcement and then kill themselves, or engage law enforcement and let the law enforcement officers take care of the kind of a suicide by cop. But here you see a guy who's clearly trying to effect an escape. He's trying to separate himself from the firearm. This is kind of classic. You know, if he were to be stopped down the road, maybe stripping off the clothes that he was seen wearing, law enforcement, that officer might not, necessarily know this was your shooter because he doesn't have a weapon on him. He's not wearing, what was initially reported as the all black clothing. Right. So that kind of shows you maybe a little bit of premeditation, that he planned this out. If he's wrapped it in a towel, maybe that's just to conceal it, so maybe it's not observed as quickly as it was. Maybe he tried to wipe DNA and fingerprints off of it to try again down the road in a court of law. Hey, my prints aren't on that gun. There's no DNA. Right. But I doubt that's going to be the case, because with touch DNA technology today, we're going to be able to link that firearm to the crime, to him. Right. So, that'll come out in court, in the prosecution, of course. But yeah, separating yourself from that firearm, that's classic escape 101.
Right.
It's so strange, because you have to imagine that you knew it was going to be picked up. I hear you about ways to try to get rid of it and try to, remove your prints, or maybe the serial number was defaced in a way and you might not be able to track it back. But it just seems like this level of planning leading up to that, and then afterwards it looks sloppy.
Yeah. And again, this young man he's young. Cerebral cortex isn't fully formed yet.
Assuming
he's got a radical.
Assuming he's the person.
He's got assuming that our suspect in custody is the person who's done this.
Right.
This is all going to have to be proven in a court of law. Right. He will be given rights. He has his constitutional rights, and he's going to have to go before a judge and a jury. Right. And he'll have a defense attorney and all the trappings of American criminal justice. Ultimately, I always say with these attacks, especially when it comes to radical ideology, people who have ideation of violence based on some kind of a grievance, sometimes it's not rocket science. Don't read into it so much. Right. He's a 20-something-year-old kid. He's probably, he's probably didn't put a ton of thought into it and just thought maybe he'd get lucky and the rifle wouldn't be found.
And now you have this supposed confession, which is, if it's allowed into evidence and if a jury would accept it, is huge. So Governor Cox said that Robinson allegedly admitted to or implied that he did this when speaking to family. And his father even apparently recognized him from the photos that were released by the FBI, urged him to turn himself in. That, if true, I wonder, goes to the pressure of the environment, Ashton, goes to the age. Is that common, what you see? You allegedly commit a heinous crime, known around the world, huge development. Are you surprised if this is true? There was an actual confession?
Yeah, that's wild. He went home and then he confessed. He could have probably got away with it if he would have had a plane ticket to the four corners of the world. He probably could have got away with it. They probably never would have figured it out. Okay, but he was only a 22-year-old. He's only a 22-year-old kid, right? And where would he go? It would be a different story if he was a foreign national or somebody from foreign. But no, he wasn't. So he went home and confessed. But why would he confess?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all. I think people want to tell their story. People want to. I personally think, and this is my personal, having just skimmed information from the internet, I think this young man he gets to be the center of the attention. He gets to be in the spotlight. I've always said, I think a lot of these shooters who do spree killings, mass shootings, active shooter scenarios are desperate for attention. They feel like they're that like loser mentality. I'm not good at anything, but I can at least be good at this. So I think you have the psychology of the moment.
Right.
You take into account the ideology, the radicalization process.
Let's talk about that, because there were a lot of theories leading into this about what might have happened. But not only do you have this apparently supposed confession, but investigators say that family members told them that they noticed changes in his behavior in recent years, that he'd grown more political, that he mentioned Charlie Kirk. And when detectives spoke with Robinson's roommate, they uncovered even more disturbing details. Here's what Governor Cox had to say about that.
Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages. including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel.
I mean, Ashton, this obviously it can be, prosecutors don't need to prove motive for most crimes. They don't need to prove it, particularly for this, but it does help explain a story and why somebody would have done this. It's sometimes very hard to get into someone's mind, but I have to say, the way that Charlie Kirk was killed and where he was killed and when he was killed, based on these allegations of Mr. Robinson, it kind of makes sense.
Well, I mean, maybe it does. Ultimately, the ultimate motive of why somebody does what they do, it's so easy to try to paint it as a black and white issue, as a binary 1 or 0. He was anti-right. He was this, he was that. He had political leanings, and this is why he did it. Psychologically, deep down inside, we don't know why this young man did what he did, and he might not understand, but he uses a political motivation to kind of justify his actions. So there could be, I've even thought, a lot of these young men, young shooter who are in this age range, is this a mental illness issue? Is this the onset?
Yeah, I mean, how does he jump from one? He jumped from one ideology to the next. He already knew about guns. He already knew about that. I mean, why would you go and confess? I mean, I don't understand. It's a weird, this is bizarre. It's real weird, this whole case.
Paranoid schizophrenia, which can sometimes show itself in that 20 to 25-year-old age. Is this, was he deep down inside jealous of Charlie Kirk? Charlie Kirk kind of embodied what the right sees as a privileged, good-looking, married to has a kid and a family, and kind of like that all-American person who's able to debate and go into these spaces where people don't agree with him, but he's still able to argue. You don't know what the motive was on this, now, and just to dismiss it as a political thing, he might have used politics and radicalization of politics to justify it. But until, maybe a psychological assessment is completed months down the road, we might not know that.
It's interesting you say that, because I was just in CrimeCon and we did a panel on Mangione, and one of the conversation points was he really upset and trying to make a statement about the health insurance industry, or did he want to kill somebody and use it as a justification to kill? Again, assuming he's innocent until proven guilty too, but assuming he did it, was that something to think about? Now, one thing people might be looking at this as we talk about, if Mr. Robinson really did commit this crime, how on earth are family or friends supposed to, I mean, you can't predict something like this, but what do you say to them? You investigate all these kinds of crimes all the time. I mean, was this foreseeable?
So he was raised in a Republican white Christian household. My whole thing is, he was born in the same environment as Charlie Kirk. He was born in the same environment, raised in the same environment, Republican environment, Christian environment, white national Christianist. Yeah, he was. Yes, he was. That's where he was born. He was raised in that neighborhood, that ideology. And then as he went away, wherever he went, lived with someone, whatever, he started looking at something else. He started thinking of other stuff. But every person in his family is a Republican, white Christian nationalist.
It's very difficult. Hindsight is always 20/20. I can't even imagine what the family members are going through on, not only for the victims' families, but for this young man whose life is now is over. If not the death penalty, he's facing life in prison for forever until he dies. So yeah, I'm sure those family members, it was a very hard decision to call. I think they deserve a little bit of credit for doing the right thing and calling law enforcement and saying, this is what we know. Right. And ultimately, it's they did the right thing. That's a pretty tight-knit, very religious, tight-knit community in Utah. So maybe you had that kind of affecting their decision to advise the government as to what was going on. So it's one of those tough situations.
These messages to the roommate, involving the roommate, part of the, they're a little confusing. They detail retrieving, hiding this rifle, surveilling the area, preparing the weapon. Why is this documented? I mean, my gosh, that's also really compelling evidence.
Yeah, it's very compelling evidence. It almost feels like he's playing a video game, like a first-person shooter game where you're doing all these little missions. So I'm not sure if that's what's going on in his head. I haven't read anything about what was happening with the roommate. I've heard things of, I'll leave that to until I know more about it. But again, hindsight's 2020. You're in college, you're your young 20s. Most these 20-year-old kids, they don't know to call the cops or, hey, I think my roommate's exhibiting signs of paranoid schizophrenia. They're not trained psychologists or psychiatrists. Let's see if this is just an ignorance thing on the roommate's part versus a conspiracy. It's always a conspiracy on the internet, and I don't buy conspiracy.
Mark, you one of those people I gotta help out. You one of those people I gotta help out. Let me help you out.
Most of the time.
Well, actually, I have a sidebar coming out about all the theories surrounding Charlie Kirk's death. I think that's going to come out over the weekend, but put that to the side. So back to the rifle for a second. When officers finally tracked the shooter's path off the campus, they found this bolt-action Mauser rifle stashed in the trees. It was wrapped in a dark towel, but it wasn't just the weapon that stood out. Alongside it were these several shell casings, and investigators say that some had been deliberately engraved with bizarre messages. Here's what Governor Cox had to say.
I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now.
I think he got radicalized. I don't know how or what, but I think he got radicalized somewhere. Not radicalized, but he just went into a different affiliation. And somebody said something about he might be autistic. His parents are registered Republicans. He's registered as unaffiliated, nonpartisan. He was an inactive voter, which meant he never did vote. He's listed as inactive voter, meaning he didn't vote in the last two elections, and he's only 22, which meant he didn't vote in the any of the presidential races, okay, and the general election. Didn't respond to notices from the county clerk either. So, and the family members and authority say that he had become more political in the last couple of years. So he reported that he didn't like Charlie Kirk in the last few in the dinner, I guess the dinners that they had. So you don't know what happened to this young man.
So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel.
You said he what? He did become radicalized. He was online all the time and joined up with the white supremacist far-right group, the Gropers, with Nick Fuentes.
The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this?" ? Inscriptions on the three
It's not that bootleg. It's not that far out. His whole family were Republicans, white Christian and nationalists, far-right Republicans. He was raised in that ideology. So it's not that far out that he could be one of the people who came from the far right and got disillusioned. Okay, he wasn't born on the left. He was born on the right.
Fired casings read, "Hey fascist!" ! Catch! Up arrow.
Yeah, he thought Charlie was a fascist. Now ask yourself why he thought Charlie was a fascist. So if he thought Charlie was a fascist, then okay. No, the family was Mormon. Isn't that a form of Christianity? one of the, almost close to the Christian nationalists. Not the same thing, but close to it, right? All right. And why would he call Charlie Kirk a fascist? Ask yourself why he called him a fascist. Why he thought that.
Symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao."
Nick Fuentes thinks Charlie is a fascist.
Ciao, ciao, ciao. And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
Okay, Ashton, from an investigative, from a counterterrorism perspective, what
He made posts about fascists weeks ago. What is Mormon? What's the difference between Mormon and Christian?
do you take away from those apparent engravings?
Well, this is where I believe the suspect knew they were going to be found. This is him getting,
Yeah,
again, I get
that's
to be
exactly what I thought. I thought maybe he knew he was going to be found, and he carved what he had to carve onto that. He carved what he wanted to carve onto those bullet casings because he knew he was going to be caught. So he carved them on there. Okay, so they would know what he was thinking.
a part of the story. I'm the lead character. I get to play the role, and I am in the spotlight.
Just to push back, is there a possibility that he is intending to fire at least one or more of those bullets, and when they were recovered from Charlie Kirk or anyone else, then the messages could be found?
That is absolutely possible. Absolutely. But again, I think this guy is, he sees himself as a loser. He gets to now be the center of attention. I see this in so many of these spree killings, active shooter events. Again, we want to say it's this, it's the left, it's the right, it's the insurance companies, blame the CEOs. At the end of the day, these are broken young men,
right,
who want to be the center of attention.
Right.
And I think when you leave rounds with inscriptions on them to be found by law enforcement, that's you playing that part, almost like a live action role play.
You put that to the side.
Right.
From a lawyer's point of view, from a prosecutor's point of view, they would argue that shows premeditation. To actually take the time to engrave that and very specific messages, premeditation. Okay, let's talk about the clothing and what we learned about what the suspect was apparently wearing before and after the shooting. So investigators say Robinson actually tried to disguise himself that day.
When he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UVU.
Now, Robinson was apparently spotted on campus that morning in a maroon t-shirt, light shorts, black hat, sneakers, and when officers found him later, he was still in clothes that matched that description. So, Ashton, again, that's another key piece of identifying evidence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Shows the premeditation, shows the planning, shows the malice aforethought. He's wearing clothes that, this T-shirt has this patriotic symbol on it with a patriotic messaging. So it's to me, I'm blending into my area. You wouldn't want to wear purple hair and pierced face everywhere, and that's going to stand out in that community, in that area. So he's going to wear what would blend to the area. I think, again, yes. And then putting on a disguise and taking it off absolutely shows to the premeditation of that.
Why not just change into a completely different third outfit? I mean, to wear the one that was apparently captured on surveillance, that one's strange to me.
Yeah, again, 20-something-year-old young kid, he might not have put as much planning into it. It's a little bit of that video live action role playing thing. Right. Maybe he didn't have the clothes.
Look, this is still in the early stages. We have a lot more that we need to cover about this. This is kind of a beginning of the evidence that you're seeing going to be presented in a case. We know that he's being held on certain charges. I don't believe at the time he's actually been charged, but aggravated murder appears to be on the table. So we will continue to see what the evidence is that is built against this individual. But Ashton Pack, thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, everybody. That's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Thank you so much.
And that's amazing. That's amazing that they got him and he was still wearing the same set of clothing. He got radicalized somewhere down the line. That young man got radicalized There was nothing anybody could do. See, here's the thing. Once you go out into the world and you open up your worldview, you open up your worldview for a lot of things. Okay? Listen to the president. Listen to the president's rhetoric.
With grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace.
Right.
It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie.
See, here's the thing. The rhetoric should have been toned down by this man right here. It should have been toned down by him. That is what a president is supposed to do. A president is supposed to make the heat be turned down in these kind of situations. Charlie was not loved by everyone. Not everyone loved Charlie. And the problem I have with this president is he doesn't seem to understand that he has other people in this country that he has to be the governor for. You cannot be the governor just for the right. You have to be the governor for the left as well. And this president doesn't seem to understand that. That's why he doesn't get the respect that he's supposed to, because he doesn't acknowledge the fact that he has a whole country to run. Now, there's plenty of people who did not like Charlie, and there's people who did like Charlie. Charlie was a celebrated person by many conservative people as a young leader who built a movement from nothing. I get it. He founded Turning Point USA as a teenager. As a teenager, he turned it into one of the most influential young political organizations on the right. I get that too. He went around the college campuses, and I believe it was a deliberate attempt to influence young people to his way of thinking, because that's when people begin to change their mind about things they learned in the home. That's when they become more of themselves and they listen to other things and form their own ideas. Okay. That's why I believe he started at the young age of college kids. Okay. He was a self-starter, patriotic figure. I get it. Bold voice, all of that. He was one of those free speech people. He championed free speech. I get it. And people thought he was a defender of free speech. Defender of free speech doesn't mean you demonize other people. As I stated the other night to people, if he was a person who really championed the beauty of the country, the beauty of the people around the country, why didn't he champion the homeless veterans? Why didn't he champion Medicare for all? Why didn't he champion voter rights? Why didn't he do any of those things? Okay. So his professor watch list highlighted instructors that he thought were hostile to conservative students. How does that come across as being a free speech person if you targeted teachers that did not follow conservative ideas? That's not a tolerance of free speech. Okay. Sure, he had a populist message and it went along with what Trump had to say. It aligned with what Trump had to say. And he embraced that populist message, that nationalist message. And it solidified his standing among conservative people. I get all that. Most of his stuff was nationalism, religious liberty, and woke agenda. No, he was a culture war person. He was a person who wanted to fight culture wars. Okay, he wanted to fight culture wars. That's not a part of the agenda to move the country forward if all you're doing is fighting against transgenders, gay people, and whatnot. Okay, you cannot say you're for the country. What you were for were white Christian men. That was your crowd. That was who you did things for. You did not do things for the black crowd, the white crowd, the Hispanic crowd. You did them for white male Christians. Now, on the other hand, critics argue that Kirk applied misinformation. Journalists, watchdog groups documented places where he repeated false or misleading claims on topics ranging from election integrity to healthcare. Okay, I get all that. He wasn't a principled free speech advocate. He wasn't, but rather a propagandist who inflamed tensions for political gain. I even heard somebody say that he was a person that did it for money. And that's all he did it for was money. He really didn't believe the things that he was saying. I don't know. I don't know the man. This professor watch list energized his base. It was condemned by critics as harassment to educators. And I believe the attack on campuses and colleges from Trump is related to what Charlie was doing at the campuses, making people afraid to speak as progressive as they want. This attack on free speech was coming from the right, from Charlie's crowd, not the left. Okay. All these opponents accused him of fostering a climate of hostility, not open dialogue. Not open dialogue. He was supposed to be a champion of free speech, but you would target the professors at colleges because they weren't conservative. He had stances on immigration, race, LGBT, and gender role. He alienated a large part of the public that saw his speech as exclusionary or discriminatory. Why is that? If he was such a good guy, if he was such a good human, why was his speech alienating all of these people? Why was it exclusionary? Why was it every chance he opened his mouth, he denigrated people of color? He was not standing for freedom of speech. He was normalizing intolerance. This is what I'm reading. As I told you all, I didn't know Charlie Kirk. I'm reading about him as I go today. I'm reading about him. Okay? I'm reading about what he did, what he didn't do. He was one of the most polarizing figures in American political life. I get it. He went around, and I truly believe that's why he went around the college campuses, so he could catch young minds and challenge young minds and bring them over to the conservative thought. Okay, he had activism. Conservative media on his side gave him enormous influence, and his followers saw him as an essential cultural warrior. But all I keep hearing about is him denigrating the Black experience here in this country. Denigrating the Black experience in this country. MLK wasn't shit. George Floyd wasn't shit. Aubrey wasn't shit. We didn't need DEI. We didn't need civil rights. You don't have to call me the N-word. That's all you have to do is try to tear down everything that I hold dear and near that makes me who I am for you to be against me. And this is more and more, people are holding him up as a beacon of light, but he also excluded people. Why did you exclude people? If you are a minister, if you are a person who teaches faith and tolerance, Jesus fed the hungry, the homeless, the indigent. He took care of all of those people before he took care of anybody else. So if you were that close to God, you were close to Christianity, that close, why didn't you ever speak on those things? Why didn't he ever speak on those things, help people with those things? You saying to me as a Black woman that I don't have enough brain power to function in society, and everything I got, somebody gave it to me because I took somebody else's spot, means you don't like me. That means you don't like me. And you only don't like me because I'm Black. Because every institution that I find that holds up my values, the things that I hold near and dear, you're trying to tear down. I believe he was only for the Christian white male. He only advocated for the Christian white male. That's it. So if you only advocated for the Christian white male, then that means you weren't advocating for me. You don't have my best interest at heart. And I have nothing against Charlie Kirk. I'm just saying he's not a saint to me. Specifically because he pointed me out as a Black woman. He pointed me out and said I was less than nothing, that I meant nothing, which meant his concern was never for me. When he thought about having he thought about the world going on, and he thought about the world continuing, he never thought of possible that it would include me as a Black woman. So all of you have to go, and anybody in the audience who's saying, no, he didn't say that, he didn't mean that. No, you need to go read and then tell me that that's not true. That's the whole point. I didn't know him. So for me to read these things, it's disturbing. It was disturbing to hear that, to read that. Okay. To read such criticism that he apparently had towards me specifically. I'm just reading the things that he wrote. Okay? I'm saying you need to read. I'm just reading the things that he wrote and he said. No, don't be just another brick in the wall too. There's one thing I'm not, is a failure in life. Okay? I think my life is more successful than you've ever had or you will have. Please, don't. Don't. No. Charlie Kirk If I am a plant and I need water, dirt, sunlight to bloom, if you take away the dirt, the sunlight, and the water, I will die. I will wither. The dirt was the things that Charlie was denigrating every time he turned around. The dirt, the water, the sunlight. Okay. So I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying he was not my hero. He never would have been my hero. He might have been your hero. You all need to go read. You can't just listen to everything that you hear on the internet. You have to listen. You have to read. These are the things. Just because a person that, see, here's the problem. You feel as though if they don't say the hard ER, then they're not prejudiced. That's the problem. And he was that. That's why you have other people on the end not liking him, because he was a racist. He didn't say the hard ER, but he did everything else besides that. And there's nothing wrong with that, except you have a whole bunch of people like you all not understanding what he was. I don't have rose-colored glasses on my eyes about Charlie Kirk. I didn't know him. I only know from what I read. And what I read did not sound good. It did not sound good. It did not sound as though you had my best interest at heart. And I keep coming back to this one fact. If you are a Christian human being, the Christian principles are take care of the homeless, people that are less fortunate than you. And if you don't take care of the people that are less fortunate than you, and you're a Christian, that means you're not really a Christian. You're not a true Christian. Okay? And every chance I see, he's having conversations. I went to three or four of those rallies that he had. He went to college campuses. And what did he talk about? He talked about cultural things. AB. He talked about transgender. Tampons in the bathroom. I meant to mention that. There are reasons why there's tampons in the men's bathroom. Please understand this. For one, there might not be some in the female bathroom. So they have them in both bathrooms. And number two, a father might go somewhere with a young daughter who might need a tampon. And there's none in the female bathroom, and the father can't go in the female bathroom, so he goes into the male bathroom, and there's some on the wall. That's why there would be tampons in the men's bathroom. Y'all just be talking. Y'all don't even be thinking that stuff through. Don't even think the stuff through. But this is one of the discussions I saw the other day about tampons in the bathroom. Are we seriously having conversations about transformers and tampons in the bathroom? We have so many more important things to be concerned about, but we're concerned about tampons in the bathroom. So this young man came from his parents' political affiliation. This young man, Tyler. It's enough on Charlie. It's enough on Charlie. Okay. I mean, there's enough on that, because some of it doesn't even make sense to me that I read, and I really didn't like what I read. I really didn't like what I saw. I just didn't. because I just didn't like what I saw. And then someone said, who said a fascist? You're calling him Tyler called him a fascist because of his political stances and his rhetoric. That's why Tyler told his family that he thought Charlie Kirk was a fascist. Okay, the way he frames the American identity and power and politics. Okay, it's mostly a political insult, but it's specific actions and words that will put you in the realm of being that fascist. Or we calling you a fascist, okay? And the number one thing is when you have authoritarian leaning, nationalist ideology, scapegoating, exclusion, militant framing, youth mobilization, which is what he was trying to do. Okay, he openly supported using state powers to suppress threats. He wanted to fight. He wanted to limit academic freedoms in universities, banning certain books, punishing political opponents. You can't tell me he didn't do it because I read that he did do it. That's one of the tenets of a fascist thought and ideology. Okay? All of those things he advocated for. He emphasized Christian nationalism and the idea of us having a true cultural identity, white nationalist identity. It promotes rigid nationalism and excludes marginalized minorities and immigrants and all. It excludes all the rest of us, and it only includes Christian nationalism or white nationalism. He questioned the legitimacy of elections, of laws, conspiracy theories around fraud, around voting rights, and he tried to undermine democratic processes. According to some, I don't know. And all of it is hostile towards a liberal philosophy or thought patterns. And he demonized immigrants, LGBT, blacks, portrayed them and said they were threats to the American way of life. Yes, he did say that. I heard that on one of his live streams. He doesn't say it directly, but that's what he's implying. Okay? He urged his audience to fight against the left, framing the politics as a battle of good and evil, survival, not survival. And you got the youth mobilization or trying to mobilize the youth to your way of thinking. Yeah, I definitely want. No, I'm telling you, I'm just saying. I read and heard enough of Charlie Kirk the past 2 days. I have had enough. I have heard enough. And the whole point is, just the fact that we have this rhetoric in the chat. I'm not hostile. I'm just sad. That that this is what we have come to. Okay. This is what we have come to. Okay. Why didn't he want to bring me? Why didn't he want to bring me into that fold? Why didn't he want to bring me into that fold? Because every hour I went, he wanted to be hostile towards me as a black woman. Why didn't I hear anything positive about that when it came to black women? I don't know. But I do know one thing It's not a good thing. Nothing that happened this week is a good thing. Nothing that happened this week is a good thing. Everything that happened was a terrible thing, including this young man. So we can forget about Charlie. It's not about Charlie anymore. It's about the young man. It's about the young man that did what he did. Okay? Why did he do what he did? We don't know. But we do know a couple facts about the young man. The couple facts about the young man. He was a part of, let me see, what did I write? Let me see, what did I have? The young man was a part of a right-leaning family. Okay. And I hated that was the case because his parents' political registration was Republican. He registered to vote in Utah. Mormon family, unaffiliated, nonpartisan. He was an inactive voter, which basically means he didn't do any kind of vote. He didn't do any kind of voting in the last two elections. He didn't do that. He didn't respond to the notices from the county clerk, according to them. Okay. Family members and authorities, he became more politicized. I don't know whether he went to the college or not. There's no strong evidence that he was raised in a household that was overly radical, an activist, explicitly ideologically irrational in any way, left wing or right wing. The anti-fascist politics, it doesn't say any of those things. Most of what's reported suggests that he was regular, mainstream, conservative background. And the political beliefs that he had, the more extreme ones, seem to have developed more recently. I wonder why. Why did he focus on Charlie Kirk? Why did he focus on him? Okay. That would be our question. He was quiet, unremarkable. He was intelligent. Some of them said he might be what the hell is it called? Autistic. He was very much online. According to somebody in the chat, he was online talking to Nick Fuentes. He was in the chat rooms with Nick Fuentes. I don't know what that means. Okay. He was dressed in a Halloween costume in 2017, which was Trump's, dressed like Trump in 2017 in a costume. He had become more political in more recent days. He also said that Charlie Kirk was full of hate and that he disagreed with Kirk's viewpoints. Okay. So we don't know when he had they had early indications of his radicalization. We don't know. Schoolmates, maybe college or high school, I don't know. They never recalled him talking about any kind of political affiliations or anything wild like that. And he seemed to be more frustrated than anything else. So we don't know what this young man, why he turned against Charlie Kirk. What was his turning point? What was his tipping point? Smart young man. But we don't know what made him go by way of what he did. And we really won't know until he begins to talk. But until he begins to say, why did he do what he did? Okay. I'm saying my watching of Charlie Kirk. See, the thing is, when a person like you looks like you, they begin to talk, you start associating with that person because they're like you. Oh, he looks like me. He's saying the truth. He's talking correctly, whatever. Instead of people doing due diligence, instead of people, researching, people didn't like Charlie Kirk for no reason. People liked him for a reason. And then other people disliked him for a certain reason. But everybody has to be aware of why they liked him. You cannot just say, I don't know why I liked him. He was just somebody. No, you need to know why you take to heart this particular person. People call him a beloved figure. I didn't know about him until this week. I had heard about him, but I had never went over to deal with his philosophies and things like that. As soon as I heard that he was religious in any way, I definitely was not going over there to look at his content because he was religious. And I found that most religious people are a la carte religious people. They pick when they want to be religious. They pick when they want to have religious talk. They pick when they want to take things out of the Bible. So I call mostly Christians those a la carte Christians. A la carte. You take what you like and you don't. And that's fine. I don't have anything against Christians. I don't feel about them any type of way. Okay? It's more of a moral thing anyway. So I don't care one way or the other. I care about this young man, and I care about the young man that died. I care about both of the young men who lost their lives, whose lives irreversibly changed these past 2 days. One by taking a life, and the other, his life is over. Effectively, his life is over too at the age of 22. Okay. Whether we like it or not, this young man took a stand and he changed the trajectory of the nation's politics in the United States. My understanding, and people said that Charlie Kirk was gearing up to maybe run for president in 10 years. Well, God had other plans for him. God didn't have the plans for him to be a president. He was just meant to be a martyr. And this is one of the things where we have to figure out: a Christian man who had a religious background took another Christian male's life. Why did that Christian man take his life? Okay. But we don't know that until the young man speaks and we have more information related to what was going on with this young man, Tyler. Okay. And my whole thing is this. Hold on. I got one more thing I wanted to hear. Miss, okay. When did this happen? His wife, hold on. I got this to show. I got this to show. Right here. Here we go. Where's the sound? Oh, okay. She's not okay. So I thought maybe you streamed. Yeah, but it was streamed, right? What happened? Oh, okay, maybe she's not. I don't know. I thought maybe it had been played, and it was just a matter of people uh coming to her, and maybe they skipped the 9 minutes. Okay, thank you. I was like, what the hell? I could have sworn I had put this. Mm-mm. I'm at 9 minutes. It ain't doing anything. Wait a minute. Oh, here she go. Okay, okay,
enforcement who
okay. Here we go. Iron worker, you tripping. Stop tripping. You tripping for real. Bad.
Jesus. Good evening. My name is Erica Kirk.
Charlie Kirk is my husband. I first want to thank the local, state, and federal law enforcement who worked tirelessly to capture my husband's assassin so that he can be brought to justice. I want to thank the first responders who struggled heroically to save Charles's life, and the police who acted bravely to make sure that there were no other victims on that terrible afternoon. I want to thank the officers who have protected our Turning Point USA family these past 2 days. And I want to thank the Turning Point USA board, the COO, Justin Strife, and my husband's chief of staff, the amazing Mikey McCoy, for all their work in these terrible days to be the stability for our family and for the wider Turning Point USA family as well. My heart is with every one of my husband's employees who lost a friend and a mentor. I want to thank the staffers of his amazing Charlie Kirk show, who helped him broadcast from this studio, this chair. Every day he loved it. He loved what he did. I want to thank the millions of people who have shown their love for Charlie here in Phoenix, across America, and worldwide. I want to thank my husband's dear friend, Vice President Vance, and his phenomenal wife, Usha, for their love and support. You guys honored my husband so well, bringing him home. You both are tremendous. I want to thank President Trump and his incredible family for the same. Mr. President, my husband loved you. And he knew that you loved him too. He did. Your friendship was amazing. You supported him so well, as did he for you. 2 days ago, my husband, Charlie, went to see the face of his Savior and his God. Charlie always said that when he was gone, he wanted to be remembered for his courage and for his faith. And one of the final conversations that he had on this earth, my husband witnessed for his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Now and for all eternity, he will stand at his Savior's side, wearing the glorious crown of a martyr. Charlie loved life. He loved his life. He loved America.
Mm-hmm.
He loved nature, which helped him always bring him closer to God. He loved the Chicago Cubs.
Right.
And my goodness, did he love the Oregon Ducks. Want me to say go Ducks, so I have to since they play on Saturday. So go Ducks. But most of all, Charlie loved his children. And he loved me with all of his heart. And I knew that. Every day I knew that. He made sure I knew that every day. Every day he would ask me, how can I serve you better? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better father? Every day. Every day. He was such a good man. He still is a good man. He was the perfect father. He was the perfect husband. Charlie always believed that God's design for marriage and the family was absolutely amazing, and it is. It is, and it was the greatest joy of his life. And over, he would tell all these young people to come and find their future spouse, become wives and husbands and parents. And the reason why is because he wanted you all to experience what he had and still has. He wanted everyone to bring heaven into this earth through love and joy that comes from raising a family. It's beautiful. Charlie always said that if he ever ran for office, I know a lot of you asked if he ever was going to, but privately he told me if he ever did run for office that his top priority would be to revive the American family. That was his priority. One of Charlie's favorite Bible verses was Ephesians 5, verse 25. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. My husband laid down his life for me, for our nation, for our children. He showed the ultimate and true covenantal love. I will never, ever have the words to describe the loss that I feel in my heart. I honestly have no idea what any of this means. I know that God does, but I don't. But Charlie, baby, I know you do too. I know you do. So does our Lord. And our world is filled with evil. But our God, you guys, our God is so good. He's so incredibly good. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Already I have seen the worldwide outpouring of love for my husband. I've heard the testimonies from people my husband inspired to get married, to start families, to seek out a relationship with God. It's the most important one of all. The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. But they should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die. All of us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will make sure of it. It will become stronger, bolder, louder. Louder and greater than ever. My husband's mission will not end, not even for a moment. And one of Charlie's greatest talents was his ability, this phenomenal ability to choose great people to follow him. He could always find the ones who could handle any setback. And it's almost like he knew. He could see it in you. Even when you couldn't see it in yourself, he just knew. He knew you could handle it. You thought you only had 5% left, and he knew you had 15. He knew you were ready to go that extra mile even when you didn't. He always challenged people around him to work harder and to be better. He never gave up. And I love knowing that one of his mottos was never surrender. So I want to tell you that we'll never surrender. We never will. Ever. Ever. Our campus tour this fall will continue. There will be even more tours in the years to come. America Fest here in Phoenix this December will go on. It will be greater than ever. The radio and podcast show that he was so proud of will go on. And in a world filled with chaos, doubt, and uncertainty, my husband's voice will remain. And it will ring out louder and more clearly than ever. And his wisdom will endure. My favorite too, but my husband's favorite word in the English language was earn. He would call all of you to be people of action who earn the future America deserves. So to all of the young people who felt inspired by my husband's faith and hard work, all of you already know what Charlie would want you to do. You know. You know. If you're in high school or if you're in college, go find your local Turning Point USA chapter. Join it. Stay involved. He wants you to make a difference. And you can. You can. The movement's not going anywhere, and it will only grow stronger when you join it. If there isn't a chapter, you can't find one, then start one. There is no excuse. You can start one. And as my husband used to say in this room every single day, if you want to get involved, the best way you can do that is going to tpusa.com. That's what he would say every day from this chair. Every single day. I watched his show every day, and he would always say, if you want to get involved, go to tpusa.com. If you're a pastor, join our movement at TPUSA Faith. And if you're a parent, I highly recommend that you come to America Fest in December. Sign up right now for that because we would love to see you. I would love to see you. Charlie would. He'll be there. He'll be there in spirit. Bring your kids, bring your family. But most important of all, if you aren't a member of a church, I beg you to join one. A Bible-believing church.
Yes, a Bible-believing church. I definitely believe in that. So, with that being said, we have to put Charlie to rest. It is what it is, but there's other things that occurred in the world. The Evergreen shooting, Evergreen High School shooting. That was the other three children that were shot, and there was a shooting on that day too. What we know about that shooting, what we know about this Evergreen High School shooting. Okay. 16-year-old student Desmond Holly opened fire at that Evergreen High School near Denver, Colorado. He used a revolver, fired inside and outside the school. 2 students were wounded. One was critically wounded. Another one has non-life-threatening injuries, okay? Then he turned and shot upon himself, and he later died in the hospital. He was radicalized by some extremist network. They're investigating his digital footprint, locker, phone, home. The school went down in lockdown, okay? The young man, let me see, do I have a picture? Do we have a picture of the young man? Picture Desmond. His name is Desmond Holly. Of this young man with a gun. Okay. Okay. Desmond Holly. That's his name, and they put the picture out for him. And this happened. This is what happened when we were mourning Charlie. Okay. This happened a couple minutes after Charlie. Okay. Couple of minutes after. Okay. And I guess his social media accounts, right, reportedly referenced the Columbine high school shooting. It's crazy. He also posted white supremacy, anti-Semitic content. Just an hour before he did the attack, he posted a photo of the revolver and ammunition. Earlier, a few days before, he also posted the same image with the gun, referencing the 38 special. He got it. The school has remained closed because of this. Okay. He posted this pic. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. It's a pic of the gun. Okay. And we have our suspect. So what the hell was going on? What the hell is going on with our children? What the hell is going on with these gun laws? Why don't we have anybody stopping any of the things that are going on gun-wise? I would make sure that people who were radicalized could not get to the guns. I would make sure that we had laws in place where guns were limited. More of a background check. Okay. We have to do something. We have to do something. I don't understand why we, year after year, we go and nobody wants to do anything about gun control. Nobody wants to do anything about controlling guns, controlling what's going on with our youth. It seems that the people who shooting guns become younger and younger. The people who are incel racist checks for these, I don't know. He had to fire and reload. And fire and reload, said a spokesman for the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. This went on, and as he did it, he tried to hit new targets. No, guns are not shooting themselves, but the gun is not the variable. I mean, the person who shoot the gun is not the variable. The person is the variable. Okay, we hear that every year. Guns are not the problem. No, guns are not the problem. But I bet you they don't have this problem in England or where they don't have guns at. Australia, maybe. I don't know. We are at a tipping point in this country where we need help. We need to change what we are doing because what we are doing is not helping. And our president, he is not helping. He's incapable of helping. He's incapable of turning the heat down. Okay, he shot one of the students inside of the school and another one outside the school, ultimately turning the gun on himself. And he was radicalized by an extreme network. What does that mean? We don't know. What kind of extreme network do we have online? Like Nick Fuentes? Okay. We're not talking about Obama and Biden. We're talking about Trump today, right now. They're the people who are in power who can change some of this. Right now, you got Republicans and you got all Republicans that are in charge of the House, the Senate, and the White House. Why not do something about guns? Okay. I cared about a Jerry Garcia. I cared about the elected officials murdered in their own home. I cared about that. Okay. We're just afraid to not have guns, but we don't need guns. We don't need to necessarily get, there could be laws put into place, but everybody's always spouting about the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. You're always spouting about the Second Amendment, but nobody cares about the kids. Nobody cares about the kids. Everybody's spouting it. Everybody cares about the Second Amendment, but they don't care about these kids getting their hands on guns, using guns against other kids. That's why I don't take them seriously. That's why I don't take any of the politicians seriously. They're just joking. They're just doing cosplay. Because if you really cared about kids, guns would not be this easy for them to get a hold of the guns. It would never be this easy to get a hold of guns, to have this much issue with guns. But yet and still, this young man, he fired on some people in his school. Why did he do that? They don't have any idea why he did that. Okay. Now I'm gonna drop the link. If anybody want to come up and say something, anybody want to come up and say anything, they can come up and say whatever they want to say. Be respectful, of course. If you want to be respectful, come up and be respectful. You don't get respect. Be respectful if you want to come up. I dropped the link and I'll be here for, the 30 minutes. If somebody wants to come up and say something about Charlie, want to say something about Charlie's wife, wants to say something about these 3 kids that were killed. We all don't have to like Charlie. We don't all have to hate Charlie. I don't hate Charlie. I don't know Charlie. I don't know Charlie from a can of paint. Charlie, at this point, is a toaster to me. Okay. Yeah, you can. What you can do is you can go out of this stream and then open up another stream for mobile app. And you're not a creator, but you're a participant. It's 2 different stream yards. There's one for creators and the other one is for people who want to come up on a panel. You can do that separately. It's not that difficult. Yes, we have to teach people to respect guns. Okay. He destroyed everybody. He destroyed 2 families. He might even destroyed more than that. Charlie Kirk's and his own. Okay. No, I didn't call him a toaster. What I'm saying is his meaning to me is like a toaster. I don't know him. Okay. Hey, Osmos.
Hi, HQ. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Wait a minute, hold on.
I just wanted to hold
Yeah,
on.
I can hear you now. Yeah.
No, you put me on. I just wanted to share with you a link for you since you said you didn't do much besides reading about him instead of seeing him in action. That's what I was going to share with you.
I saw him at like 3. I listened to him at like 3 debates. I saw the Jubilee debate. I saw a debate against a person called Parker. Then I saw 2 or 3 debates, and then I read some of the words that he said. Yes. No.
Okay, the Jubilee, I think it's sort of him, but I got most of I've watched him on and off for the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it just shocked me that how the narrative gets spent, but that's all I could really say.
What shocked you?
I said I've watched him the past 2 years on and off.
Right.
So I'm just shocked how the narrative gets like spent out of control about the things that he said, and I've never once seen.
But why do you think the narrative is spent? Why do you think it's spent?
The same way you can say some things about like Trump or whatever the case may be. people are pick and choose what they think a person is saying, and then they run with it. So it's like people to say these, oh, he said racist this, racist that, and then you ask them to prove where he said, they don't have anything but get emotional, and then after that insult you with some kind of whatever. But I
No,
say
no,
that because
I read the quote. I read quotes. I actually
yeah,
went to
you read quotes, but you can't see anything that he actually said. So they just go off of implied belief, whatever belief they
even if I
have. And
went to his website,
what do you mean you went to his websites? I said what he said. If you watched him,
read his
now
speech
what he right?
and read his speech.
What was
So,
his speech?
so I'm saying I'm not supposed to believe what I saw him say.
What did he say?
No, I'm saying I've seen so many things over the past couple of days. I'm saying you're saying that it's spun somehow, and
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying I'm saying I listened to what he said. I listen to the quotes. I seen people.
I listen to what he say too, and I just accept what he say in full context.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I've seen people run and lose their minds and try to take one part and take that, they build a whole narrative off of one part they want to just focus on and ignore everything else around.
So
So I'm
here's the
asking
question
you,
that I got. Here's the question that I got.
what's the question?
You did not think he was racist?
At all? No.
Mm. No, why do I think he's racist, but you don't?
You said you read stuff. I said I've been watching him for. You just watched him for the past few days. I've watched him for the
Well,
past
no,
2 years.
I just took him I just took him at his word. I took him at his word. So
To,
why do I feel the way I feel?
to be what? You took him as word to be what? To be racist? I
I'm
don't.
saying I took him at what he said. I interpreted what he said just like you interpreted what he
I
said.
know, but you say you don't know who he is or watched him. You've just done in the past 2 days. I said the past 2 years. So
Right.
I just have a sort of bigger range on seeing most of the debates he's done with different people,
Mm-hmm.
settings, like
Mm-hmm.
more dynamics about him and his character, his belief system, what he spoke about in a span of 2 years. So I cannot not say, okay, you've seen these things in the past few days, you read these things, and then you get to that conclusion, you just go with that. So that's why I say
Mm-hmm.
some people they'll just go off for whatever thing they want to pull, and then
No, no,
after.
no, no. You talking to me. You're talking to me.
Mhm.
So I'm saying, how do you explain to me the things that he said? How do you explain to me the things that he said? The things that he said that were no type pro, you want to come up and argue. Hold on. I'm talking to Osmos. I'm talking to Osmos.
I didn't even check. I forgot that you can't see the comments from here. I forgot. He probably was saying something in the comments.
So I'm saying he said, I mean, it's neither here nor there. I can only. He didn't say anything overtly. He did not say anything overtly. Ooh, what is that? You got to mute. That's you.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the cars in the back.
Okay. He didn't say anything. He did not say anything overtly racist. He didn't say anything overtly racist. The whole point was, I come from. This is what I'm saying. For in the back of my mind, in my heart of hearts, when I'm alone by myself, I can't stand immigrants. Not that I'm not saying that's how I feel. I'm saying if that's how I felt, that I could not stand immigrants, right? Everything that I was
The
talking.
Labor Day sale at
Oh,
Furniture Row has been extended.
I'm sorry.
Shop today. Because
Sorry.
the more you buy, the more you.
Sorry. Everything, or whenever I spoke about immigrants, it was not about the immigrants, but it was about things associated with the immigrants. It wasn't the immigrants that I talked about. It was the things associated with those. The building blocks that made immigrants what they were. The fact that they are a diverse group of people. I attacked that. I attacked what made immigrants special to this country. I attack the DACA program. I attack the 14th, the 5th and the 14th Amendment. I attack those to get rid of anchor babies. I attack those processes. Yeah, are you Are you close? Are you with me so far? I'm in there. Hold on. In the back of my mind, I don't like immigrants, but I don't say I don't like immigrants. But what I do is I attack DACA. What I do is I attack the border problem. What I do is attack the Fifth and the 14th Amendment. I do attack those things. Now, if those are things are associated with immigrants, and that makes the immigrant be able to stay in this country and be involved with this country, and I continue to attack those things, that means I don't like immigrants, Osmos.
I don't think that
Oh,
means you don't.
that exactly that's what that means.
That jumps to a big conclusion. So before those things,
So I'm saying when Charlie attacked DEI, Charlie attacked civil rights movements, Charlie attacked Martin Luther King, Charlie attacked black women black women aren't intelligent enough for me.
he attacked.
Hold on.
No, I'm just
When he attacked XY civil rights should never have happened. When I attack all the things that are components about black people, I don't like black people, Osmos. That's the conclude. That's how I came to the conclusion that I came to. There's nothing wrong with that. Just admit that you didn't like black people. That's all. I don't care whether you did or not. It doesn't make me hate you, but I see you. I see what you were doing. You attacked civil rights. You attacked black women, said they weren't intelligent. You attacked Black Lives Matter. You attacked
you attack very aggressively for everything, but it don't actually give a context because each issue you try to address has its own like format on how you want to break it down. And I think that's what he did with every topic. You have to do some kind of deconstructing on what you want to improve or take away because at the time that it comes into effect, it may be right, but then over time, it may not hold or stand 30, 40, 50, 60 years down the line. The same way they reversed Roe v. Wade. There are certain things at one point in time make sense, but that don't mean as you progress down the line, it should stay that way. Do you understand?
No.
So
I get that.
when
I
you
get
say,
that completely. But wait a minute, you didn't
okay,
address my point. You
when you
didn't
say
address
DACA,
you didn't
you
address
said
what
what
I
you say in
said.
the back of your mind. I was
No,
listening.
all of those things have one thing in common. They're associated with black people. They're associated with progress, bad or good, with black people, Osmos.
You say they
If you
associate with
attack,
black people or
yes,
black people associate with them?
no, black people, those things are associated, put into place to help or hinder black people. All of those things that I said. When someone, if that's just like
Okay,
me,
if they
that's just
associate
like
with,
me going, that's just like me going over to, standing over here and attacking Jewish people. Every time I turn around, I'm attacking Jewish people. I'm calling them that, X, Y, and Z, all of these things.
so HQ,
That would mean that I have some kind of feeling about the little hat people, the Jewish people. That would mean I have some kind of feeling towards them.
hold on.
Every time he spoke in negative terms about these things. He never said anything about black people, but he always attacked these things as though they weren't.
Why do you? And then you say attack when you have a discussion or a dialogue, and now when he
Yes,
states
saying this.
his,
If you're
oh,
saying,
when he states, see now the thing about people is very weird. Where if you don't have an opinion, but you have an opinion when I have an opinion, but then you decide that yours is actually better than mine when you didn't have one in the first place.
I
When he
didn't say
starts to,
mine was
no,
better.
no, no, I'm giving an
I didn't
example. When
say
he
mine
starts
was
to,
better.
when he,
You
oh,
think yours is
no,
better.
when he starts a discussion about something, then somebody comes all up in arms to give some kind of like opposite stance of whatever he says. But if he had not said what he said, you would not even have the moral argument to try and give your point of view on the thing itself, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
Regardless,
why did he say? Why did he say it? Why did he attack?
because that's what gets brought to him. So those people that would come and listen and say all these things. So now when they bring an issue to him and he gives his stance on it, because again, they came with
Mhm.
their opinion on
So
something, and then
every
he gives
stand,
hold on, and then he gives his, but they focalize on what he says more than what the person that brought it
every
to him.
stance, every stance is a negative stance. I didn't see a positive stance. I didn't see a positive stance when you say,
The person that brings it is negative, or the person responding is
no,
negative.
I'm saying his stance. I was
His
looking at Charlie's stance. I wasn't looking at nobody else's stance.
but
Charlie, how do you
his
feel
only
about
comes
it? This is
from
what I said. This is what I said. I said, how did Charlie? I said, I took it in the car. I said, wait a minute, hold on. Why is it that people keep saying he was X, Y, and Z? Even white people saying he was X, Y, and Z. Let me think. Let me listen. Okay, Charlie, how do you feel about civil rights? Well, civil rights never should have happened. Why would you say that if you wanted to keep civil rights? You didn't. Why did you feel the need to call black women, dumb?
let's
No
oh
reason,
okay.
no, hold
Let's
on.
get
No reason to
let's
say that, but you
let's
volunteered it. Okay? Two, Charlie, how did you feel about DEI? Well, DEI is not necessary. I'm more of the critical race theory person. Huh? What? All of these things through things that were associated with black people into the back, saying those were not needed. Why would you throw all the things that are associated with black people into the back and they were not needed when they were pillars to the black community? He never said he was racist. He never said the N-word. He never said any of those things. But if you attack everything around me that supports me, that tells me that you don't support me, that you don't have my best interest at heart. If you attack everything that I hold dear or is related to me. Most people think DEI is related to black people, and it's not. But Martin Luther King was related to black people. George Floyd was related to black people. DEI, according to whoever, was related to black people. The programs put into place like affirmative action, that was related to black people, or so they thought. I'm just saying, I can see where they have an issue. I can see where the issue is. That's the issue. He wasn't as perfect as people thought he was. He had an agenda when it came to black people. No, maybe he didn't have an agenda to black people. Maybe he was pro-white nationalism. And
okay.
that meant that he didn't care about me as a black person or black people in particular. That's all. I'm
Okay.
not saying let me rephrase that. I don't think he's racist. I just think he just never thought that I would belong in the society that he wanted. I think he just wanted a white Christian nationalist society. That's all. You all say he's not racist. Okay, we can live with that. But he didn't have my best interest at heart.
Okay,
He's a
I got you.
Christian.
So, would you mind pulling up something? I guess
Mhm. Go
you could.
ahead.
No, there's a list right there. I put it for you right there in the comments, and you could pick from any one
Oh,
of
you mean
his.
in women? Okay.
Yeah, so you can pick one, and then after we can review it, and you can tell me where in there your stance and his stance, where you see that is a thing where,
Oh, I see a Facebook thing. What's going on?
yeah, it's gonna give you a list.
Let me see. Okay. I see this dude openly admits he wants to. Is that a bunch of videos?
Did it go mute? I don't hear anything.
Wait a minute. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Osmos. Osmos. You guys can
Brainwashed with this guy. I don't hear anything, but I will say that
do you hear me?
everything with this Thai guy is brainwash, brainwash. You
Wait
can't
a
just
minute.
be objective.
Osmos, do you hear me? Osmos.
I don't hear you if you're speaking.
Oh my God. What the hell happened? Oh, I don't know what happened.
Oh, on my other phone, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait a minute. I could have sworn that I was okay. Okay, hold on. Ty Pro, what? What happened? Ty Pro.
Why are you doing me like that, girl?
What? What? Because you want to argue. You need to
I
have a
don't
coherent
want to
argument.
argue. I don't want to argue.
What?
I just wanted to ask questions about this conversation.
Okay. What question do you have?
Well, y'all was having a good conversation. I just wanted to hear examples of his talking points from Osmos because he say he wasn't racist and he keep just kind of going around the point. When he say things like Malcolm King, when he talk stuff about Martin Luther King, when he say black men aren't raising their children, when he say 13% of the population commits 50% of the crimes. If you
You
don't think he, if you
you
don't,
you don't have the argument to get. I gave him the argument.
so
I
I'm
gave
about to ask him a question. If
hold on.
you don't,
Okay, ask
if
me the
you
question.
don't think that those talking points that he had against black people are racist, can you explain what they were if they weren't racist? And can you use examples that he actually said? Because I've watched a lot of his videos. I just don't know what particular video you would like me to point out. But can you just pick a topic that he had about black people and explain how it wasn't an anti-black talking point?
Nobody said. Here's the thing. Hold on. Nobody's saying he said lies or told lies. Nobody said that. What I said was that he didn't like black people.
Well, when he's
Hold on. He didn't like black people. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying whether he's racist or not. That's for the God to judge. I'm saying he didn't have my best interest at heart. Everywhere he went, he said black women were not intelligent, that they took other people's jobs, other people's spots. So I'm not speaking for black men. I'm not speaking for white men. I'm not speaking for anybody. I'm speaking for what he said against the black women. I'm saying he did not see me in the future of this country. He did not see me as a significant contributor to this country. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything else. I'm saying that is how he felt about black women. How he felt about white women, how he felt about black men, that's not that that
so
has it's
and
no difference to me.
And he's well, as a black man, he said that black men aren't raising their children. That's statistically a lie. He also said that us as black people, 13% of the population is committing 50% of the crimes. That is a statistical lie. Now, what they like to do is point to the FBI statistics, but if you go deeper into the stats, that will be broken down as a lie. What black people are 50% of is overturned convictions. That means we are overly arrested for crimes we did not commit. We are 50% of the population. We are 50% of overturned convictions, meaning we are proven innocent once arrested, which will speak to over policing and stop and frisk. That is why you get those type of statistics. So the people who commit the most crimes are white men. The people that commit the most violent crimes are white men. Only less than 1% of black people in America are in jail. And less than 3% of that 1% is in there for violent crimes. But he don't say those type of statistics. He just try to say these talking points that make us look bad to push his narrative.
Mm, okay.
That's it. I wanted to talk to Osmos, but I guess he ran away.
No, I'm not jumping on Osmos. I'm not jumping on him at all.
No, we just having a conversation. Me and him we've been
Where Where would I run to? You were just talking
Okay,
to
there
her.
you
I
go.
have no.
I asked you a question.
You were
I asked
talking
you
to
to.
her. Hold on. She
No,
wanted
I
to
had
talk to.
started. I
Hold
started with a
on, hold on,
question to
Ty.
you.
Hold on,
I
Ty.
I
Hold on,
understand. You
hold
was
on, Ty.
talking with her, so she talked to me for a little bit. Then she brought you on. So y'all had your conversation.
Hold on.
But
I'm saying but see, here's the thing. We don't have to go round and round with this stuff.
But I
You
asked
know
him a
how Charlie.
specific question.
You know how Charlie affected you. You know how he affected other people. I know what his words meant to me, how they affected me. I read now I pulled up something that you wanted me to pull up, Ty.
I I wanted
No,
Osmos.
Osmos, you said something.
I
yeah, I
wanted
said
Osmos to
pick. I
explain
said
if it's
pick from
not
the.
racist.
I said pick from the playlist, and then after we can review it to see if what you say
Okay,
stands
I'm not
true.
sure which one of Fact Checks leaves college. Oh, Charlie deserves to be to. Ooh, wow, what the hell is wrong?
Osmos, can you explain his talking points and how they're not racist? That's all I wanted to know. Some of those same talking points that he had about black people, can you tell me how they aren't racist?
How they aren't racist.
Yes, not talking around it, but using his quotes and telling me how what he said wasn't racist.
I can't use his quotes because I'm not him to like.
Okay, well, just
Um,
okay. How? Why don't you view him as racist?
Because I listen to anybody that can explain and articulate their standpoint.
Encourage
So
him.
what about it? What about saying 13% of the population commit 50% of the crime? What about all the things that he said about black people isn't racist to you?
Let me see. With that 13% of the population, and he said committing about 50, 58, I think it was, or 56% of the crimes. Again,
Well, what do
when
you mean we celebrating? Nobody's celebrating the man's death. I don't
when it
think.
comes, Mhm.
I mean, hold on.
There's somebody saying that.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me put this up here. Cause people, This is just one that I found.
Okay,
Okay. This is just one I found. I don't know about what you found. I found this one.
okay.
Okay. And it's I just heard him.
3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
Oh, there's Charlie.
So why would I think that is out of context, Osmos?
Because I agree with them. If you watch Joy Reid and all the other stuff that they do, the same shots he just threw at her is what
Mhm.
they do on their platforms.
No, no, no,
So,
no,
so,
no,
so wait a
no,
second.
no,
I'm
no, no.
responding to what he just said. He just took shots at them and said how affirmative action has helped them. They
Mhm,
themselves admitted that he's using their words. He's
mhm,
adding his little spice to it, but he's actually just staying within the context. He was like, if we had said it, it
mhm,
would have been an issue, but they said it themselves,
mhm.
and they're taking advantage of something that's gotten them to where they're at. That means off their own merit, they wouldn't be able to get there. They won't actually have the actual experience. So that's all he was saying. So I'm like, but they want to stop it right there. I don't know what else he said after that, but I've
Yeah,
never
what did
seen
he
that
say
clip.
after that? Let me see. What did
Charlie
he?
Kirk going on what I would call an incredibly, I guess, disrespectful would be the least I could say. Racist would
Disrespectful?
be what I would like to say. Rant about affirmative action, given that it was struck down by the Supreme Court. Y'all already won, so I don't know why you're mad. But there we go. And specifically reacting to the fact that prominent black leaders inside of the halls of power, Michelle Obama, former First Lady, Ketanji Brown Jackson, current Supreme Court Justice, have actually spoken out about how affirmative action helped them get into Ivy League schools and get them to where they are. But no, obviously Charlie Kirk proving that white people's fifis were more important. So here he goes with clip 52 or 25 or whatever it is. Sheila Jackson Lee talking about her own experience with affirmative action.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color, but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that.
So my question is this: she went on affirmative action, but that didn't
being a
mean
woman.
that doesn't mean she graduated with affirmative action. And that's just one example of that. I think he was hostile. I think he was hostile to.
He's been
I
faced
don't
with
care whether he was
hostility.
hostile.
So oh Jesus. So that man has to be on the moral high ground all the time. He's been faced with hostility the whole time. He's actually chose to get out on the front street.
He said, "I'm sorry. Say that again."
This man has been faced with hostility. The same, him and Candace Owens are on the same team, but I'm saying he's been met with hostility. So if he has the same regard
Why
with
was he
somebody,
met with hostility if everything he said was true?
what do you mean everything he said was true? He's
You said
using everyone. I say that when someone says something, when they use it, he'll take it and then after that say, okay, you said these things, and we're going to use what you say to prove the point where we make our stance. That's all he did.
so. You don't think he believes that? He's just
What?
saying. He's just saying it hyperbolically. He's just saying, "Oh, you said you used affirmative action. I didn't say it. You
Yeah.
said it."
Yeah, so that's what he does in this situation, in this context. So I completely get it. But
Mhm.
again, those people with their platforms, they'll take shots at him or anybody, Ben Shapiro, that whole
Well,
gang. It don't matter. But again, if he's the person that the target of interest in this conversation is, they're gonna do that, and they have been doing that. So now, when he does it
so he
back,
was an
but people,
asshole. So he's just.
so
Oh, so
he's
he
an
was just an
asshole when
asshole.
he's an asshole when he retaliates back with the same kind of energy.
No, no, no,
Then
no,
I'll
no,
be like,
no, no,
yeah.
no,
I'll
no.
be like,
Hold on,
yeah.
hold
I'll be
on,
like, yeah.
hold on, hold on. I didn't hear nobody attack Charlie. I didn't hear
Because you
nobody.
watching this
What do
tape,
you mean?
if you
Hold
go on
on,
Joy,
hold on.
okay, so then go to Joy Reid.
What do you mean?
So then go.
Responding back when
So then go
nobody
to Joy.
attacks him.
So then go. What do you mean nobody attacks him? They've been
Nobody. I
attacking him.
said nobody. I didn't hear not one of them women attack
Go
that
on.
man.
Okay, then that's what I'm saying. So it's
So
like it's
how
a little
is
bit
it that
twisted
he's
that
over
you
there?
got this
Wait a
clip.
minute, hold
This.
on. So
So you
why is
got
he
this.
over there attacking the women when they didn't attack him?
What? Where? Okay. Who are the people he's talking about?
Now, I know for sure
Who are
Michelle
the people he's
Obama didn't
talking about?
attack, and I know for
Who
sure
are the
Obama.
people? Who are
Hold
the people he's
on,
talking about? He gives
hold on.
specific names. He names the people that he's
Yeah,
talking about.
Michelle Obama.
What do you mean, Michelle Obama? He didn't
Did
attack
Michelle
Michelle
Obama
Obama.
attack this man?
When did he name Michelle Obama about anything?
He just named her.
In what? What did he say?
He just said you just took my you just took the
A white
the
person job.
vice person's job.
He talked about Joy Reid, the people with platforms from the major TV networks. Those
No,
people is who he
he
named.
just said Michelle Obama, and I know for a fact Michelle
Mich-
Obama wouldn't have said nothing about this man.
Michelle Obama was in it. Is not in no kind of political anything. She might have some influence, but he's only talking about people who's talked about him. Has Michelle Obama talked about him?
No, did you just hear what he said?
I did hear what he said, but he only
He
talked
said
about the
Michelle
people.
Obama.
Oh, Michelle Obama, what?
That she was lumped into the group of black women.
For what?
For DEI affirmative action hire. He said that
Michelle
her.
Obama is a supporter of DEI. She's not no person that needed to depend or use
Hey,
DEI at
let me
no point
let
in
me
time.
ask you a question. Were you raised conservative?
No, I was raised Democratic. I grew up around
Okay, hold
Democrats.
on. That's all I wanted to ask. Now, when did you make the shift? What pushed you to that side?
Let me see. Not in the first election for Trump, but during the Biden era when Biden came in 2020.
Okay, that's understandable. What appeals to you? What about Charlie Kirk talking points do you
Judah,
resonate?
don't do that, Judah.
Is
Don't do that.
What?
basic logic
Please
and
grow
basic
up.
principle.
Hold on, let me finish my question, bro. What? What? talking points of Charlie Kirk do you agree?
Basic
Can I
logic.
finish my question?
You just said what
I
talking
did
points.
not
I'm
finish the
telling you what
question
they
though.
are.
Hey, just
Hold on. Let him
relax. Why
finish.
you
Let him
so
finish.
spicy, dog?
Let
I'm
him
not
finish.
spicy. It's just
You
easy to
are.
reply to. You
You
trying to
relax,
drag it
Let him
out?
finish
relax,
the question.
relax,
Let him
relax.
finish
So
the
I'm gonna
question.
finish my question. What talking points of Charlie Kirk's do you agree with that aren't based in Christianity or religion? That's just about social population. His talking points about, because he had a lot of talking points about the white replacement theory. He had a lot of talking points about violence in the black community. So those two things specifically, what
Uh,
about those things
You made it a
speak to you?
two-part question, and when I said
No, it's a one part question.
no,
I'm asking you
you said
directly. I'm asking you directly out of his theory on white replacement and his theory on black violence. What are you pulling from that resonates to you as a black man? Because
again.
you are
Now
black, I'm assuming.
you done jumbled up what you said to me to try and
You
make a
need me to
narrative.
repeat it because it's very clear and
It's
specific.
not very clear because you say what I agree with. I said basic principles of common
So
sense,
that's a very
logic.
vague answer. That's why I asked you a very
That's not vague.
specific.
When you can
Can you let
explain
me
things
finish
in the
talking?
see,
Osmos,
now
Osmos.
see,
You gotta relax. Stop being so
I'm
emotional. Stop
relaxed.
being so emotional.
You're trying to
Stop. Take a
dogpile
breath.
stuff to try and
Take
No,
a
no,
be like,
no.
breath,
oh
Hold on.
this,
man.
Y'all
oh
hold
Breathe.
you're
on.
that.
Everybody
Then you
hold
said
Breathe.
on.
In through your
Christianity or
nose,
religion,
out of your mouth.
Everybody
and then
hold on.
Breathe.
Everybody hold on. Hold on. Hold on. This is not something that this is something that we can't solve. We're never going to solve this kind of thing. You got people who idolize this man. You have people who idolize this man, and you have people who hated this man. Now he's equal. There's equal parts hate, equal parts love. I'm not on the hate train, and I'm not on the love train. I'm only going by what I heard him say. I got clips like this. I personally think he never said he was racist, but I believe he didn't like black people. That's my thing. That's all. Okay. Everybody else has their thought about it. Everybody can have their thought about it. I'm just saying. The whole point is, don't make it seem as though this person was a saint when they weren't. They were just human. And apparently, Tyler Robinson didn't think he was a saint either. Okay. And I really don't like Candace Owens, because she does the same thing. Your dog whistle conversations. It's called dog whistling conversations. Black people were better off in slavery and subjugation. Osmos, explain that.
why do you pick something out of context and ask that tell me to
I
explain?
didn't pick it
When
out of
I
context.
watch,
This is in the
I
chat.
got full context of every video, but then you want me to respond when he already responds it in full entirety. That's why I said I gave you the link. You can pick one, but you pick yours, and I said there's many right here. We can watch a whole discussion.
I see a million
So
things that are not here.
I said pick one, and then we can see the full conversation, and
Okay,
then
hold
you tell me what you can pull out of it as racist
on.
because you chose that one. I'm fine with TYT. I've watched him. I like TYT.
Okay. Here's one. I don't know what this is about. It's only a couple seconds though. I mean, I don't understand what it is, but hold on. I mean, this is it. This is the one. I don't know what the hell. What, can you see it?
I don't see anything.
Did I pull it up? Oh shit. I'm sorry. There it is. But I don't have no sound. Wait a minute. Do I got sound to it? Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
You, I hate you. Would you like to have a substantive conversation or? A substantive? No, man. No, would you like to have a conversation? Sure, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't like you. I think you spread hate. I think you spread bigotry. I think you a lot of people off because you're just an awful person. I don't think you really want to debate because you're just here to piss people off and energize your crowd of racists. What have I ever said that's racist? Oh, what? Can you name one thing? I'm Hispanic. Can I support Charlie? Can you name? Does that mean anything? I think you're just trying to play a game, and I think this is obviously going to be used. What have I ever said that's hateful? I just want to hate you. You're awful. Get off my campus. When have I ever said?
Okay, see that these are little inserts of people saying X, Y, and Z.
But
What
he
did that
can do that with college students. He's not doing that with grown intellectual men. He's doing that with young, confused college students. So it always makes his clips look better.
So
That's why people
HQ,
like.
These
That's
are
why.
his clips?
That's
These
why
are his
people.
clips.
so
That's
HQ,
why
these are just
people.
conversations with people. There's street people, there's politicians, there's Oxford, there's all ranges of
That's
people.
why
I'm
Oh,
not.
so
people
this is
like
the turning
Oswald
point.
fall in love
Okay.
with him
He
because
went
he's
everywhere.
cooking
So
college
saying
students.
saying not college students is just a finite way to
But
describe the understanding.
Hold on.
his
Hold on.
major platform was talking to college students so that people with a weak mind
That
could
was a
fall in
starting
love with him and
foundation.
defend him.
Developing
Why
Oh,
you
minds,
so
not weak minds.
emotional,
Why would you
bro?
talk down about college kids? I went to
hold
community
on.
college.
Hold on. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this one right here. Come
This
on.
dude is too emotional.
Let's talk about ICE. Let's talk. Sure. What about ICE? Don't you like?
A violent organization.
Not violent.
Yes, they're violent.
I'll tell you why I like ICE. They're the number one agency that goes after child sex traffickers. Number one. They arrest tens of thousands of child sex traffickers every single year. They also go after MS-13. They also go after terrorists that are here in the country domestically. ICE was formed after 9/11 to go after international threats that are here domestically. They get such a bad rap, and you actually meet with the agents, and you see what they do every single day. It's pretty extraordinary work. Now, they do go after people that have visa overstays. It has nothing to do with race. An illegal immigrant is not a race. If you are here illegally, you should not be here despite your race. The immigration debate is demagogued by politicians by being a racial issue. It's nothing to do with race and everything to do with the rule of law.
Hi.
So
So I'm
what
not
about that? And
technically.
there was
I don't
there
go to
some.
UT, and I'm not the legal age to vote yet. And my parents are divorced, and both of my parents have separate political views. My mom's conservative, and my dad's a liberal. And my mom is always kind of pushing me to bring politics into my life. And I was wondering, A, should I care? And if I should, why? And which parent should I lean more towards?
Got it. So did you say mom's liberal?
Mom's conservative.
Oh wow. Okay, that's opposite I would have thought. Okay, so I see you have a shirt here that says "Whom shall I send? Here I am." Right?
Yes.
Which I love. That is the Hebrew word "haneni," which appears many times throughout the scriptures. When Abraham, the binding of Isaac, Moses at the burning bush, the call of Isaiah, the call of Samuel. Every believer here in the audience. By the way, the most important thing is to bring Jesus into your life. Let me just make sure I say that. Most important thing. It's way more important than politics. It's the most important thing.
Amen.
And so I encourage every believer out here to learn what that word Hineni means. It means, Lord, use me, send me. And I could tell you're probably going through a trial right now because your parents are separate and it's not easy. So the scriptures are very clear about this. Christianity has a heavy emphasis on honoring your parents. Now, to contrast that with the prior questioner, I don't think she's doing a good job of honoring her parents because she's accusing them of being in a cult.
Yeah.
Even, this is very important, everybody, even if your parents share values and views and a worldview that you do not have, you are biblically obligated to honor them, which means to spend time with them and to love on them and to go visit them. Even.
You dropped out of college. And your highest
community college.
Your Harper College experience. I apologize.
Barely was smart enough to make it through community college.
Okay, so
barely made it through high school.
Your
too.
highest degree level is an honorary doctorate degree from Liberty University.
No, that's true. I do have an honorary PhD.
Yeah. So essentially, what are your qualifications for arguing that college is a scam, or really having any economical knowledge at all, when likely the vast majority of the students here know more than you about economics as a whole?
Okay, so no, hold on. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Who's Milton Friedman?
Who's Milton Friedman? I have no idea, and it's not important to this conversation.
Who is Ludwig von Mises?
These are all probably economists, and they're the same.
Yeah,
the same
who
thing.
Is John Maynard Keynes?
Okay, obviously I know who Keynes is.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
He's the most famous economist of all time.
You don't know Milton Friedman?
I mean, that's an economist.
Okay, how about Murray Rothbard?
That's another economist.
F.A. Hayek?
I don't know who that is.
Well, then you just came here and insulted my intelligence. You're right. I barely made it through community college because I was too busy, starting a national youth movement with hundreds of thousands of members.
Hey, hold on.
Employing hundreds of people, raising hundreds of millions of dollars, having a top 10 most popular podcast, and reaching tens of millions of people online every day.
Sure,
but hold on.
But you're also
What are my
calling all of your
qualifications?
constituents idiots by
I've
saying
never
they
said that,
participate in a
actually.
scam. Their
Hold on a
shirt's
second.
right there.
I'm
College
calling
is
the
a scam.
institution a scam.
So then
I never
why?
insulted the intelligence. I just had 10 people come up and we had warm conversations. So you asked, what are my qualifications? I'm a job creator, entrepreneur, autodidact. Do you know what that word means? Yeah, self-taught. You know, you should probably learn that word if you're going to come up and insult other people's intelligence.
Hey.
So
Was he
You see,
recognizable
people
to
back
you
with the
at that
same
point
energy,
after
like I was
going
telling
through
you.
everything?
Nice to meet you.
I'm good.
Olivia.
He's gonna mic you up real quick.
Okay.
I get it.
How was your flight?
I get it.
So my thing is, when you give a person a chance to speak, you let them speak in
I
entirety.
mean, I get it. That's from his website. I get all of that. I
So
get it.
there was no edit. That's a full conversation and dialogue between two people. So
Mhm.
me to try and defend his stance is a little bit difficult to do because why? I can't say verbatim everything that he says. Now
Mhm.
that part where you guys say that he says some racist stuff, there's gonna be a black person on that. I know that conversation you're talking about. There's a guy in there that's gonna have it if you got to it, and then he'll explain that in itself. But now you want me to try and defend it. But again, it depends who
No,
you
no,
hear.
I'm not asking you to defend anything. I'm telling you if
At no point.
you wanted to give me, if you wanted to say, hey, HQ, this is why Charlie was a good person.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
telling you, I didn't see that.
I know you didn't see it. I'm saying he just speaks clear, transparent. There's no hidden motive. He explains everything directly. So that's how I understood him. This is the past 2 years. Now, people that just all of a sudden hear something from one person or read something that they think and then they buy into that, never seeing him in action. That's him in action again. During the political election, he had different debates with different people, grown adults, his age and older, not just college students. He went to
So
every
I
arena,
watched his
he went
videos
on
on
Fox
his
News,
page.
he went on news
What
channels.
what
So he
what
has more than one. He's very
Hold on,
diverse.
hold on, Typro.
He
So
has
my
more than.
question,
Uh huh.
here's the thing. There's people in this chat
Yeah.
who's saying, white people in this chat saying he's a racist. Why is white people saying that?
Well, there's a lot of people with this victim mentality, and they got this thing where they want to be able to cope to a lot of black people. Because I've seen
What?
that. I don't
What?
know. Yeah,
look
there's a thing
Osmos,
going on where
do
there's
you
white
think
people.
everything he was saying
They,
was right? Do you believe everything he
I
was
know
saying?
that there's gonna be things that he's gonna be wrong about. Nobody can always be right. I would never say that.
But do
Oh,
you think a majority of what he was saying was right?
Mm-hmm.
his intent was right, but again,
Okay,
something.
so I'm gonna
No,
ask you
no,
one
no,
more
no, hold
time.
on. Stop right
Do
there.
you
Stop
think
right
his
there. Stop right there.
white
Stop right there. Hold
replacement
on.
theory
Kai,
was right?
Kai, hold on. Hold
Okay,
on.
all right.
You said his intention was right. His intentions were right. What were his intentions for black people?
I don't know. He wasn't talking. He talked to everybody. He didn't make it about black people.
But he talked a lot to black people though. He had a lot of talking points with black
He
people.
talked
He
to every
even used
race
to
of people. He did not
Brandon Tatum.
discriminate.
Brandon Tatum was his. Okay, nobody's saying that he only talked to black people,
So
but
why am
he
I gonna
did
make
talk.
it now about
Can you
black
let
people?
somebody finish talking?
You're
He
telling me
talked
to
to
make it about black people when it.
he talked a lot to black people. He talked a lot with Brandon Tatum. I'm asking you about his views on black people. He had views about everybody, but since we're all black people on this panel, I'm asking you about his views on black people and his views on white replacement theory, because those are more effective to us. I don't think you're LGBTQ. You kind of sound like it, but that's not something we got to talk about. We're talking about black shit because we're black people. So
You
what
got
are
a
you?
problem with gay
What?
black people? That's crazy.
No.
But we're not gay black people. Gay black people identify more with the LGBTQ. We're talking about black theory. Like I said, what are your thoughts on his white replacement theory and his views on black people?
Never
White,
heard of it.
You
white,
Never
never
heard.
heard his
I
thoughts on
never.
black people.
I never heard a white placement
Okay, all
theory.
right. What about his
But
views
wait,
on black
let me
people?
views on black people. There's no set views on black people. He just thinks that you guys can sort things out on your
You
own.
guys, so you're not
Some.
black?
So what are
wait a
you
minute.
talking about?
You
Let me
know
You
the
show you
said
the
you
replacement.
answer
guys.
before I get.
Hold on.
You just said
White,
you guys.
hold on. The white replacement theory. You don't know anything about his white replacement theory?
I've never heard anything that he talked about white
That's
replacement.
it's like where he said there was like a group of powerful people trying to replace the white race.
I think that'll be the you know whoish people.
No,
Oh my
this is
god.
his this is his theory. he talked about this theory.
And I
He
think that
believed.
that pertains to the you know whoish people.
So
What
you
do
think that
what do you
that's
mean?
true?
You know whoish people? What do you mean?
That's the use.
Little hats, little
Oh,
hats.
the little hat people.
Yeah.
So you think that's true, Osmos?
I have like a 60% belief that that's true.
That white men are being replaced by everybody else?
The you know whoish people wants to get them out of power and be in control of them.
So you believe that they're trying to get white people out of their seat?
It's not about get them out. It's make them the scapegoat for everything,
Wait a minute,
so
let
they
me
can
read
sort of
this.
lose their actual
What
whatever they
would
built
what
up.
would they be the scapegoat for though?
All the issues in America. So, for example, you got two sides of what I think the Pearl was talking about this earlier.
What?
There's two kinds of white people that have this white people guilt, and then the white people that have this upset thing about being tired of black people with black fatigue. So you got ones that want to be apologetic to black people, then you got the other ones that want to discount that and be tired of black people. So you got that clash going on amongst each other. So then at the same time, you got the you know whoish people that's orchestrating that. So you got two opposing sides of the same race doing that. Like earlier when HQ was talking about black folks, and I was thinking to myself, you listed a whole bunch of things that I know if I went to certain neighborhoods, they don't know what the fuck you talking about. Civil rights, this or this and this and that. And I'm like, you talking about the educated black people or the ignorant niggas in the hood? I know niggas that trap, they don't know shit about shit for shit. Ain't been to no kind of
I
school, and
was in
you
the hood and I knew about
no,
civil
okay
rights
then,
and
no,
Malcolm
I
X.
got you. So then, whatever hood you was in, that's fine. I was in it too. But I'm
Everybody
saying
know
that
about
she,
the Nation of Islam.
okay, no, you know, everybody don't know. You can't put that. So what I'm
They
saying is,
in the hood.
see what I'm saying? So in this sense, HQ, what I was saying is you'll have two sets of kind of people in a race. We know there's niggas and then we know there's black people. So what
Right.
I'm saying is with the white people, they put this stigma now where you got the apologist white people and the liberal woke people. Then you got the other, you could say they like MAGA type white people that be tired and they say they have black fatigue. It's this constant thing going on in every group of people. Even with the Mexicans. I've
So
seen it where
you align with the MAGA white people.
I don't know if I align with the MAGA white people. Like I'm Haitian. All I know is I align
Oh,
with.
you a tether? It makes sense now.
I'm a
It's
Haitian.
you tether ass motherfuckers that be the
I
problem.
don't know
It
what that
all
means,
makes
but
sense now. Project Leroy, we got a tether.
I'm a Haitian. So all I know is Haitians have more conservative ideals. You believe
Yeah.
in family. You believe in like marriage. I grew up Catholic in a sense. I don't like really lean to any of that
Wait a
stuff.
minute,
I
and
knew
y'all come across as a group of people that feel as though they're a little bit better than the regular black
HQ,
American.
exactly.
better. What do you
HQ.
mean better? The
Hold on,
what?
hold on. HQ. These
Don't put no
tethers,
stairs.
all of these tethers come over here and
I don't know
align
what tether.
themselves with white conservative views. These Haitians, these Nigerians, all of these motherfucking
See, now
tethers
he's
come over
speaking for
here.
me. Now look,
All of
so
these
see,
tethers
you see
come
the
over
thing about
here
it.
and
Whenever you
because
get some, when you
they
state
wanna
something,
distance themselves from
Okay,
they
black
now
people.
see
All of
hold
these,
when you state
all
on,
of
something, the
these.
Ty,
problem
hold on, Ty.
when you state something, the problem is if I said I was Jamaican, he would run away with the logic. If I said I was Ghanaian, he'll run away with the logic. If I said I was Bahamian, I
Because all
can't get
y'all
that kind of
tethers
Okay,
do
narrative.
it. That's
I
let
why
me
can't.
y'all
ask
are
No, hold
tethers.
on. I
let
can't
me
get
ask
that
All of
this
y'all
narrative
do
where
question.
it.
Let
when you
me ask
state
this question. Osmos,
yeah.
you align more with the way white folks think than you do black folks.
No, not aligned
Yes,
with
you
the way
do.
white folks think. I'm saying I get the traditional principles in certain ways to live as a human being. It makes
HQ.
more sense
He's whitewashed
if the
because
Democrats had
FBA
followed that same
Americans.
if the
No, no,
Democrats
no,
followed
no,
that
no, no.
if
Don't
the
blame this
Democrat
on
HQ, HQ,
Democrats.
I'm not blaming
HQ.
Hold on,
anything. Let me
hold on.
finish saying what I'm saying. I said
Hold
if
on.
they had said the same kind of thing, I would be on that side. If they were like they believe in family values and stuff like that and having
Yeah,
freedom,
why do y'all
no,
why does the right think that
no.
us on the left do not
H-
believe in family
So
values?
so
Hold
what
on,
I'm telling you is
hold on.
that's what I'm
Let's get
saying.
that straight.
Wait, so
Why do
wait,
you
you
feel as though
before you run
we
away
want
with it. That's what I'm saying.
hold
I'm
on.
not aligning with the white nothing. I'm telling you what I make sense of when it comes to how you're supposed to live your life as a person, as a man or as a woman. That's what I go with. And those people seem to put that in a more sensical point in a sense. If
So
it
why
was
is
on
it
the
that
other
why
side,
is it that Dems didn't put it in a more sensible point?
I don't know, but that's the reason why I'm where I'm at, and that's why I'm explaining to you. So I
HQ.
grew up with that
Let me
fundamental principle.
HQ. This the thing with tethers. Tethers and foundational Black Americans
Mm-hmm.
have two different experiences with white people and systemic racism. So they look at it as a myth. No matter if you come from Haiti, Jamaica, Nigeria, wherever it is, they are way more colonized than we would ever be because we've been over here fighting for things that they don't value. So of course he's going to align with people that don't value Martin Luther King, civil rights
Who
movement,
see he's
and
saying
all
stuff
these.
that's
Hey,
not
hey, hey!
true.
Let me finish, big
You're
dog.
wait,
Let me
why are you
finish.
putting stuff
Let me
before me?
finish.
No,
Let
you're
me
saying
finish.
stuff for me. He
HQ,
just
Hold
said
on,
can I
I
hold
don't
finish,
on,
value,
hold
please?
on.
but he's
Hold
gonna
on,
HQ,
hold
list
can
on.
I
everything.
finish?
He's gonna
Let him
Can
list.
I please
hold on,
finish?
Osmos. Let him
Okay,
finish.
he's
Let him
gonna
finish.
list
Let him
everything
Cause
that would apply to
I
me.
let his zesty tether ass finish.
And now he
Let
calling
me
me
finish.
zesty. Okay,
And a
I got
tether,
you.
zesty tether. So
Uh,
like I said, HQ, these motherfuckers come over here by the boatload and align themselves with white conservative views all day long because that is what they bred to do because it goes hand in hand with the escape to America mindset. It goes hand in hand with the flee from their country mindset. When you got a mindset to flee from your country, escape to America, you're going to align yourself with the right and conservative. More importantly, anti-black propaganda because they going to look down on us because it makes them feel like they have a step above us.
I don't know what the fuck
okay,
that
now
means.
here,
And
let me
I'm
say
done.
this. Let me say this one thing.
Mm,
When
go ahead.
you said that you aligned more with the conservative side, did you mean that white is right and black is not right?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy that y'all talk from this present timeline. Would y'all be saying the same thing back when I was with Obama, when I voted, when I believed the same things that they believe at that current time?
So
But
why
because
isn't
we
it? No,
fast
I'm
forward
asking you.
now in this present time, because
Mm,
I've decided to go Republican point of view, now it's all these things. But
I'm asking you, why
if
did
I
you
came
vote
on
for
here and I was
Republican?
like, yeah, I'll vote for the Democrats and I'm on this, oh, you're not a Tesla, you're not
Okay,
this, you're not that.
that's
But
fair.
it's kind of fun. That's
That's
crazy.
fair. That's
But
fair.
okay.
So that's fair. So my question is, why did you get away from the Democratic Party if you voted Democratic?
I seen what changed in 10
What
years.
changed in
What
10
was the
years?
what life was like back 10 years ago. 10 years ago was different compared to what it is now. And I seen they gone off the deep end.
How
Shit
did
that
they
I
go
grew
off
up
the
with.
deep
It
end?
was none of this faggot shit going on back in the day the way it is now. All that crazy shit, I'm not with none of that shit. Again, we raised to kill motherfuckers like that in Haiti, but y'all with that shit, I'm not with that shit. But hey, that's what y'all do here. Okay,
Wait a
cool.
minute, hold up, hold up.
But
You just said,
yeah.
you just said because there's gay people in the world, you turned
I
your
didn't
back
say
on
because there's gay shit. All that new shit that wasn't around when I was growing up,
you.
I don't conform to. I'm not with none of that stuff.
What
So I'm just
stuff are
telling
you
you,
talking
I'm
about?
go. I'm telling you what them weirdos, the people, the blue side, done got weird for me.
Wait
So
a
what
minute.
I
And I just
understood 10 years
asked you
ago
what,
is not what it is
and I
today.
just
I'm
asked
just
you what
telling you
did you
what it
mean?
is today is not what it was before. So I'm
So
only
okay,
going with
so
what
you
makes sense and that makes rational sense to be a part of.
so
That's
you
why I
said,
went to the red. The red side ain't mad about the race for real. It's who's actually following the simple principles that you live as a human being. It start a family, traditional shit. It's
wait a minute,
simple stuff.
hold up. Why is it that you feel like the Democrats don't feel that same way?
I tell you, that's what I'm saying. My understanding is to watch and see what's actually happening and how they move, what they say, and how they operate, and they
You
don't got nothing
honestly,
to do.
wait a minute,
And I'm
you
telling you,
honestly,
you're saying why, and I just answered you, and then you can ask a question. What I've summarized in
well, you didn't
totality
know
in
because you
the
never
past
did
10,
say,
15
because
years
you
is
didn't.
gone away from what I thought it was when
And
I
I
was younger.
said, and I said, what did you think it was, and where did it go? That's what I asked you.
Back then, at
Because I
first,
know,
I
because
thought, I thought, I thought,
I know what
I
I
thought
follow. I know what I
collectively.
follow. Hold on. I know what I follow.
But you're older
I
than me.
believe
What?
you know. This is just a democratic principle. Period. Your country is only as strong as your weakest link. That has been true everywhere across the planet. And when you take up for the poor, the indigent, the helpless, and you advocate for those people, you advocate for rights for everybody, not just because you're white, not just because you're a woman, not just because you're X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You fight for people to believe in religious freedom.
Yeah.
That means I don't have to be a Christian to be welcomed in this community. When you
Yeah.
fight for those principles, you're a Democrat. Now,
What? That makes you a Republican too. What are you talking about?
no, that's not the Republican, because the
That
Republicans want,
is you.
because
Just
the Republicans want me to be a
when
Christian.
you don't.
Otherwise, they don't
No,
believe
no,
in
no, no,
anything I
no,
believe.
no. They have Christian values. Some of them, not all of them. You done put a blanket kind of like ideology with that. Me, all I really understand now as I've gotten older is to only care about being an American. This
And
happened yesterday. Hold on. This happened yesterday.
Mhm.
This girl tried to.
And hold on, let me finish. And the fact that here's here. Let me be very clear. The reason why I'm not a Republican is because the Republicans don't think of we. They only think of I. Everything is related to I. I got to get my taxes paid. I got to make sure this is done. I got to I. When Democrats talk about we. Democrats talk about lifting up the poor, lifting up the indigent, lifting up the people that can't take care of themselves. When you hear a Democrat talk, they talk about inclusion. I got to include white people. I got to include migrants. I got to include the gays. I got to include everybody. Regardless of whether I like gay people or not, they're included and they're a part of the American history. Okay. But when I speak to a Republican, they have no tolerance for anybody that's not white Christian males. They intolerable for the women to have autonomy. They're intolerant of the women working outside the home. That's why I'm not a Republican, because they don't believe in inclusion and they don't believe helping out their fellow man. It's always I. Every Republican that I've debated with, I. Why did you vote for Trump? Well, I got to get the immigrants out of here. But you're an immigrant, sir. What are you talking about? You pulled the ladder up after you came. You pulled the ladder up after you came in the door. After you came in the border, you pulled the ladder up so nobody else could come behind you. What kind of piece of shit are you?
That's not what happens most of the time.
But it's always I. It's never about somebody else. Another thing, the AB conversation, the pro-life, the abortion conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Republicans feel like nobody should have no AB.
They feel.
Okay? Here's my thing. If you're a president, you're supposed to be for all the people in the country, not just because they're Christian, not because they believe in not having an AB, just because they're pro-life. You don't care or concern yourself about the other side. That's why I don't believe in the Republican ideas, because you don't concern yourself about the concerns that are on the Democratic side. If you're my president and I believe in abortion and you don't, he can't make a decision based on what you want only. He has to make a decision based on both of us. And the only way for him to make a decision on both of us is to make abortion legal for both of us. So you have the choice to say no, and I have the choice to say yes. And when a president, to me, says nobody gets to make that choice, then he's not my president. And that's not the party that I'm going to join. And when you tell me that you don't care about the homeless, you don't care about poor, you don't care about people who don't have medical insurance, you don't care about people. This is what I heard, and it came clear to me the other day. Republicans don't give a damn about the individual person. They'd rather a person starve on the goddamn street than to give them food stamps. People who are born in this country, you shouldn't give a damn whether they get food stamps or not. It don't hurt you one way or the other. And Republicans rather people starve on the damn street than to give bum Keisha damn food stamps. That's as clear as it can ever be. They'd rather have the older people, old folks die in nursing homes or outside on the street than to give them free medical. So if you are one of those people who believe that Bum Keisha can't get no food stamps, she lazy. If you one of those people, then you're not a Democrat. Because a Democrat cares about its weakest link. You're only as strong. Your country is only as strong as your weakest link. And our weakest link are the disabled, the homeless, the veterans, the elderly, and Bum Keisha with children. And if you don't care about any of them, then you can't be a Democrat. You care about business. Half of y'all don't make enough goddamn money for these tax cuts to even be about you. But you went over there and you voted for Trump because he gonna give me taxes on tips. He ain't gonna charge my tip. He didn't give you nothing out of that big bold bill. There was nothing that he promised that would help anybody except throwing people out of the country, knowing full well you couldn't throw no 12, 13 immigrants out the country. I believe in immigration. I believe in it. People come in the right way, do the right thing. But we got 13 million people. How the hell we gonna get rid of 13 million people? We ain't. They don't want to. And yet we got people who voted for this man because of the immigration. And ain't nobody going up out of this country. You remember when Trump went to California with that crew, that national crew, trying to make Gavin Newsom let him put them people out? Trump got a phone call from his little white buddies, his farmer buddies, his restaurant buddies, and they said to him, stop throwing our people out of the country. We ain't gonna have nobody to work for us. And what happened? Trump came on TV and said, oh, we gotta help our farmers. We gotta help our businessmen. We can't get rid of their people. That party is opportunistic, and I cannot vote for a party that would do that to their weakest link. So I have no respect for that party over there. I have no respect. I have no negative feeling, no feeling whatsoever. I don't denigrate. I don't go online. I don't say anything about Republicans. I don't. But I have no respect for you if you don't believe in any of those tenets that I named. Democrats believe in minimum wage, raising it. They believe in people having choice. They believe in immigration, DACA, making these people legal. Making these people legal means we got a record of these people being in the country. So this is where I am as a Democrat. So if you believe in the other side, I don't understand why you believe in the other side and you're a black person.
It's not about being
Let me
black.
speak
It's
to that
about
real quick, HQ. Because, you know, me and you had a lot of political conversations because I've really been in the middle. And I spent the last year listening to conservatives and black conservatives, and they fucking stupid. And you know, the biggest thing that I can't do, I can't align myself with a group of people that still waves a terroristic Confederate flag. I can't align myself with the same party that 99% of the people in this country that hate me are in that party. You know what I'm saying? I can't align myself with the same people who will use me for my vote, for my attendance, for my views. But soon shit hit the fan, they gonna go bomb black colleges. They gonna go shoot up black colleges because they mad, and we the first thing they gonna set their anger to every time, like they've been doing throughout the history of this country. And that's what really repelled me completely away from that side. And I still hope that the Democrats get their shit together with certain things that I don't agree with. But I would never, never, never ride for people that are really filled with hate under the guise of Christianity. Because that's the same shit they was doing to us when we was enslaved and when we was in chains. Pushing hate under the guise of Christianity. I tried to speak on that with Glorious Love, but she ain't want to hear it.
I believe what you say. And I agree with what you're saying. I get it. I do. I get it. I do. I just don't. And the Democrats, don't get me wrong. Democrats are fucked up. They need to get their shit together. Off the top, they're fucked up and they need to get their shit together. But all day long, they're better than the Republicans in morality, and only because your side, the Republican side, doesn't give a damn about the poor, all of them, all of the weakest links. When you don't give a damn about your weakest links and the weakest people in your society, and you only care about the rich society, and every time I turn around and I hear one of these fucked up people say, "You black people are talking about the victim Olympics." The fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? These people would rather see me hang than to be in a party. These people, like Charlie Kirk, call me dumb because I'm a black female. 300,000 black women lost their jobs under this administration. If he gave a damn about black women, it never would have happened. That's all I'm saying. It never would have happened. And that's okay. People in the audience, in the chat, you can vote for whoever you want to. I don't care. But I will never look at that party and say that I'm going to vote for them when they don't care about their fellow man. I just will never be a part of that. When you started to throw the immigrants out, I would never be a part of that. Never be a part of you denigrating somebody that's not strong enough to take care of themselves. Never. All under the guise of a romance, all under the guise of a Bible or being a Christian. God or Jesus advocated for the poor, the indigent, the sick, the disabled. Not now one of you people are advocating for those people right now. You're advocating for rich folks to get their tax cuts. So I have no respect for that side because of that. When you tell me you're a religious person and Jesus is the one who said, take care of your indigent, your poor, your elderly, and you don't, and you cut them off of Medicaid, you cut them off of food stamps. Oh, bum Keisha's defrauding the government. You'd rather people starve. So you don't give a damn about you don't give a damn about them. So I don't give a damn about your party. So I don't give a damn about your party. It is what it is. And that's fine. Everybody can vote for whoever they want to, but you vote for your conscience. That's my conscience. My conscience says I have to care about my fellow man. My conscience says I have to care about those things. I don't care about rich people and their tax cuts. They make all the tax cuts in the world. Like I said, Democrats are fucked up right now, but the principles are the same. Raising minimum wage, making sure people have a choice, making sure everybody on this planet can eat, making sure homeless veterans don't sleep on the street, making sure elderly people don't sleep on the street. That is the principles of a Democrat. That's it. We have always been fucked up, but we've always cared about our fellow man. We've never said I. You give me a Democrat that says, "Oh, I voted for the Democrats because I can get food stamps. I voted for the Democrats so I can get free health care." You'll never hear a Democrat say that. Never. But if you ask a conservative or you ask a Republican, they'll say, "Oh well, my taxes. Oh my business." It'll always be me. It will never be I or we. It'll never be we. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all got me on a tangent. When I'm on a tangent about the fucked up Democrats, I'm on a tangent about the fucked up Democrats. It just is what it is. I apologize for that. I'm sorry, guys. Give me your final thoughts. I'm already heated about this. I'm already heated because I get very passionate when people don't give a damn about the poor and the indigent and the people who get food stamps and the people who need Medicare. I get real pissed off when people tell me they doing other things besides taking care of those people. We have so much in this country and we got homeless people sleeping on the street. Get the fuck out of here.
You passionate, HQ, and you know what? I respect it. And I appreciate you kind of opening my eyes to certain stuff. I ain't gonna, I don't care about poor people like that or the gay community like that. But I do see what you're saying. There's more of an empathetic side of
Wasn't
the
that what
government.
Charlie Kirk said? Charlie Kirk said, "Oh, that's a fantasy.
Yeah,
Having empathy is a fantasy. It's a one of them made up things. That word has been around since the beginning of time. Dumb white
he
boy."
called it New Age. But my last word is gonna be this. You know who Myron Gaines is, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's a tether from Sudan. He's a black conservative with anti-black talking points, always degrading black women, degrading black people. This is just like the MO of crossing the border over here. So you just got to remember that, HQ. Watch out for these tethers, especially the zesty tethers. I'm out. I love you. I'll see you next time.
All right. Y'all got me on a rant, and I did not mean to be on a rant. I'm sorry, Osmos. You got me very passionate about this subject.
I didn't know. You already felt like that. I didn't get you that way. If that was already in your heart and that's how you see things, that's fine. And
Yeah.
again, there's so many things you can pick apart in what you said. Like, for example, I'm not all the way into the religious thing, right? That's not my like front street. I'm all about the sensible thing to do. And whoever makes the most sense is what I can apply to and what I can like point out on. We can go down this route in
I get it.
theory.
I get it.
That's my whole thing. So
I get it.
now, again, since you a little bit older than me in a sense, what you've seen, what you've experienced on how you viewed the Democrats for so many years is different from the timeline that I'm starting from. So I can
No,
get how you.
this is how I feel about them today. I
Oh
feel
no,
there's a lot of things that
what
could be
I mean, let's say you have like 20, 30 years or
right.
something like that on being able to see.
Right.
You know, me, I only got from the time that I started, I was 12 years ago. Let's say I was 18.
Right.
Or
Right.
so let's say that's where my timeline starts. I'm starting from that point on, and then
Right.
you go from there.
I'm just saying, everybody, do your research. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to what I say. I could just be an old lady ranting and ranting. Don't
But
listen.
no, you allowed to. I would not say that. I've done my own version of research too. Like I say, I did my little bit in community college and stuff like that. Again, I don't take where I grew up from. Now that I'm out the hood and stuff like that, whatever the case may be. I was influenced when I was younger to try and be on the blue side for a good amount of time, but I was influenced to not even think or question anything and how they work and how they operate. So, like I say, if they make 60%, 70% sense to me right now at this current time, that's what I'll go with. Again, it's not nothing about religion. It's like I look at the country now compared to when I was a kid, because my mom used to hate crackers. My mom, when you come, Haitians don't like white people. So I grew up not liking white people for a good amount of time and stuff like that, because my mom was like, anybody who gets an education is a thief. That's what she really proposed and stuff like that. But I'm the one of the kids that she had to go to school. I had to learn everything. I had to translate for her. I had to read all the mail to her. I had to do everything in the sense of me and my sister. So it was like, so I had to learn a bunch of stuff. I had to grow up in the neighborhood with they call them Yanks. And then Yanks was like, for us with the Haitians, we call them the Black Americans. That was the Yanks. So I understood that dynamic. And then you had to learn about the other races. There was Arabs in the neighborhood. There was Spanish people. It was diverse in Miami. Whatever the case may be,
Right.
I'm saying now, when it came to the politics arenas, I got older, having to understand who says what and who actually does it, I don't really know, but I just know what makes sense as I've gotten to the stage in my life. Again, like I said, when I was younger, I just did it because I was 18. I could vote. Yeah, I could go vote. Then after that, I got into the streets and sold drugs, all that, whatever shit. But then when you get outside of it, and then you try to be an adult and migrate into society, be a citizen, then I understood. I'm like, oh, okay. There's being an American, and then after that, there's like being a black person with the black people experience. So if
See,
you
I've never really had an experience with people. I've never really asked people where they came from, where their lineage is from, because I take people how I meet people.
That's fine. You
You
don't
know
have
what
to.
from. I don't. So I always say, whatever your beliefs are, as long as they're true and honest to yourself, and there's something that you can live with, okay, fine, go ahead and live with that, right? And I get that. and you may very well have done your research, did all of that. That's fine and dandy. I'll do more research on what I need to do research on and look at people, try to look at people differently. Maybe it's something I overlooked. I don't know. I'm always open to saying that I overlooked what I did, but
I got you. So my thing is, again, this not even something that you can really speak on, that you can or you don't have to. I understood it like this, where it's like there are men and women right now of all races dying to defend the country we live in today for the rights we have and the way you can voice your opinion and have your beliefs about whichever thing you want to do. The right for us to be able to have access to whatever it is, buying land, buying houses, and just function how we function.
Okay.
Now, civilly, we may have some issues depending on the state you live in and all the other things that you discuss like that, whether or not you can get food stamps, whatever the case may be. Those things are just like a little bit more in the subcategories, and in each its own thing. Education might be a situation.
I meant to say this. Y'all do know that the people that are going to get kicked off of food stamps is going to be the old people, right? And the disabled, right?
Most of the people on food stamps is white people, but yeah.
They do. You do know that the old people gonna starve, right? And the disabled people gonna starve, right? I just want to put that out there. A lot of people say, well, you're getting food stamps, you're sitting on your ass and you're not working. Those people are gonna be fine because they still gonna get food stamps. The way they're gonna make the cuts at is with the elderly people who can't get off their ass and work.
They really actually, it's not even like about who this left or right side. I think that's something fundamental they want to do regardless.
They've been wanting to get rid of the Republicans have been wanting to get rid of Medicaid and food stamps and all of that for a long time. And then they got their wish with this president.
No, like I'm saying, I think that's both sides because what I've seen.
No. We would never, us Democrats.
No, let me just explain. I'm saying because I work in the food industry, the way they make menus for lunch, night, whatever day, breakfast, elderly and senior. So that senior and that junior breakfast is meant for people with fixed income and the kids who don't actually make income. Because so many people are going into retirement at some point in time, if you do get rid of Medicare and all that stuff like that, they like literally be gonna be shit on their ass and stuff. They're gonna starve or they could possibly die. Who knows what? And then it's like that's a big portion of people you don't have to worry about to subsidize because why?
Whoa. I know you did not advocate for people dying.
I didn't have. I'm just explaining something that I've paid attention to. I did not say for what anybody. I say both sides.
You just said those are people that we don't have to worry about if we.
I said no. I did not say we don't have to worry about. I said that's what they're trying to do, and I say they as in this is something above, beyond, left or right. It's something that I think that they do in a sense where, as time progresses, a lot more people are going into retirement. They can't afford it. We don't have retirement anymore for these elderly people, so they're trying to raise.
How is it that we don't have that money? We have plenty of money.
They spent the money. That's why you don't have people being able to go into retirement.
Who spent the money?
We don't have no Social Security. Like, I don't want to go into that.
Why didn't we? So instead of giving the tax cuts to billionaires, why didn't we fund a couple of Social Security?
Okay, it gets all jumbled up when you try to figure out and go down this rabbit hole. All I'm just saying is
why didn't we fund Social Security and disability and all of that?
That's happened since before I was born.
No. That happened about 2 months ago.
No, what I'm saying is this snowball effect has happened since before I was born.
Yes, we could have stopped it. Why didn't
I know we could. You trying to ask me a question I can't even get into an answer right now, but I'm just saying what's happening is now that
Stop saying we opened up the borders to illegals. We didn't open up the borders to illegals. Jesus. Y'all listen to everything that Trump say and they be a lie. Goddamn.
The elderly people, they're trying to like find a way to sort of like cut the snip on them and stuff like that. And one way they're trying to do that is try to raise. They hope you clock out because they hope you don't make it like 70, 75. That's one thing. or they do try to get rid of those benefits that you depend on when you're trying to wait to retire and reach a certain age, but they didn't use the money and we got into so much deficit and inflation you can't afford for a place to stay. Then you got the younger generation of people who don't want to have kids and then they don't really want to work. They don't feel like it's worth it. Then you got people in the middle like me that's probably like between the ages of 30 and 40 and stuff like that who are working and trying to do their best in this economy to like weather it. And there's like it becomes a strain on you. So you have to make a lot of sacrifice and a lot of cuts and stuff like that to try and get it. Now there's people who
Wait a minute, are you trying to make a deal? You trying to defend this big fat bill?
The big beautiful bill?
Yeah, are you trying to defend that bill?
I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just saying what I've noticed. This is outside of that. You put everything in that context. Again, my thing is I only go with the simple principles of what something stands for, not everything in depthly in the deeper
So
layers.
why exactly because you voted for, you turned to Republicans, you turned to the Republican agenda because we were including Transformers.
Yeah. Y'all went to it went to the weird stuff that I'm not with. That's one thing.
Why is transforming weird? I'm confused.
Because again, what I'm raised by, I don't condone none of that stuff. I'm not with it.
I don't condone Transformers either, but I care more about.
No, what I'm saying is I'm really like I'm not raised to tolerate that stuff. Again, here you allowed the freedom to be able to have that. Internally, I'm not with none of that. Is what I'm saying. I'm not like intolerant of it.
Okay,
like,
so out of what? So when
that's not the whole thing, though. Again, that's not my whole spiel with that.
Was you born over here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. HQ, I don't like the LGBTQ agenda.
I don't either. I don't either. I'm not gay.
Don't run
with
it.
I'm not gay.
No, I know. Don't run with it. I got you, but I'm just saying.
It don't, but I'm not gay, so that don't matter.
Right, but the agenda, and it might have been a little bit of propaganda in there too, but it just seemed like such a big, especially when it was like a wave of so many kids getting these surgeries and stuff. That's what pushed me into looking into conservatism, because that was that agenda in the way that it felt like it was being marketed to children is the biggest thing that
I know what I
turned me away. But I've been hearing a lot of Democrats talk about that. And I've been hearing a lot of people that are heavy in the Democrat community talk about that. The left needs to kind of step off of that a little bit to get more voters back.
No, it's not a wait a minute, hold on. It's not a matter of having empathy. I have empathy for every human being.
And you're a humanist. I get you.
I just don't. That LGBT is not on my list of priorities. My priorities are disabled, the elderly, the handicapped. Those are my priorities. Not LGBT, able-bodied human beings. Them is able-bodied human beings. Let them do their thing.
Okay.
I care about people who can't take care of themselves.
You more of a social program concerned person, and I get that.
That's right. That's fine. And the thing that happens is where people start to run the train is like, okay, you do that. How long down the road is like, who pays for that? Where does the money come from? That's what they start to run into. And that's when you cross over to the red side. They create systems and jobs and companies and whatever it is, but it has to be in a certain way where you, like, again, with, let's say loans, for example. If you have a business and your business make revenue and then you need to help support people, this issue happened with Ford. When you had these car manufacturers, they was trying to go so automated that they was getting rid of the people, but the people that actually build your cars are the people that buys your cars. So then you run into that fallacy. It's like, oh, wait a second. You can have all robots trying to build everything. You don't have the people to buy them. You get it? So with this country, it's like people want to give all these programs and fund this, fund that, everything everywhere. Well, who are you taxing to be able to pay for these things?
Hold on, stop right there. It don't matter who we tax. We still have to take care of them.
It does matter. It does matter.
Why does it matter if I take $1 out of your hand?
No. I'm saying it matters in the sense where you try to be able to leverage a reason to do something. So, for example, if I start a business, if I want to start a business and I have a job for 500 people, and then I make a certain amount of money to maintain the business for it to operate, and then pay my state tax, then what is it called? whatever business tax that they tax me on. So now what you run into is now if you start taxing me more and I try to find loopholes, for example, tax write-offs, this and that, it reaches a certain threshold where now I'm gonna have to hire less people to stay afloat and operate my business. Now you got 100 people that can't work, and then they go to the government for assistance, and then they're gonna use those tax dollars to help those people, and then you got people that just don't want to work or can't work and they disabled. So the trickle down effect is so many things where it's like, oh snap, okay, if we having all these programs, all these people
are
that
you
work,
a business owner?
all these me, I know I ran. My mom and dad had a business growing up, so I had to run it for them for a time when I was growing up.
But the one thing conservatives like to do is spread this. They took my job and they taking my money and they taking my guns. Fear though, and that's why it be hard to really. They use so many different types of statistics.
So that's true. So that's
no,
true,
no.
Ty.
What it is you. The problem here is it's the cultural things that y'all concern yourself about instead of the practical things.
Okay.
I get the practical, the cultural thing. You worrying about LGBT, worrying about food stamp, worried about replacement, worried about
Well, HQ, I had a so
bathroom.
hold on.
All this
So
stuff
hold on.
don't matter.
It do matter though, HQ, because I have a child that I was raised in California. And California was one of the most liberal LGBTQ pushing states, right?
In the bathroom?
I don't give a fuck about I got a daughter, so I don't care about tampons in the bathroom, but I do care about a grown ass man in a wig walking into that bathroom while my daughter is trying to use the bathroom. So my daughter is like, hold on. Let me just finish what I'm saying. Because it's not like like I said, I'm not a liberal, I'm not a Democrat, I damn sure ain't conservative, I damn sure ain't a Republican. But I'm trying to find a balance where the issues that matter to me most are addressed. The two issues that matter to me most are my children and my people, right? Now, having a child that grew up, because I lived in California, we raised her in California for the majority of her life, it was very much gay shit being pushed. I'm talking about surgeries, gay elementary school books. I'm having to have these conversations with her at 8, 9, 10 years old because the teachers are bringing it up in the books that they're reading. So it affected me. I never even cared about. I'm not. I hold on, bro. Let me finish.
No, Ty. They even said
never.
Did they tell you about?
See, and that's why we go down the rabbit hole.
No, Ty.
So let me.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
They
you
would
don't
arrest
like,
him
you
as a
don't
parent.
you really don't want to deal with trans, and you don't want to deal with
they would arrest
HQ,
him as
you're
a
not
parent.
listening.
They would arrest him as a dad.
I don't
for
need to
not.
hear anymore. You're telling me that you're concerned about the gay and the transgender.
He's concerned about his kid.
Let me speak.
You're telling me that you're concerned about the gays and the
I was not
trans.
concerned. No. Let me speak for myself.
So if you weren't concerned
hold
about
on,
it,
HQ. I'm not.
About it.
I'm about to answer the question. I wasn't concerned about gay or trans. I was concerned about gay and trans sexual education in my daughter's elementary and middle schools. And I was really more concerned because it was coming before heterosexual. It wasn't even coming as sexual education. They weren't even talking about condoms and pregnancy and babies before they was bombarding her with there's 19 genders. This is mom. Brad had 2 dads, and all of this type of stuff.
And if he don't accept it, they'll arrest him.
Because I had an issue. And I even had an issue with vaccines and all type of shit that I just wanted to put more information in for myself. But when it came to the LGBTQ agenda in California,
major issues.
It was the LGBTQ specifically pushing their agenda on children, and it's documented.
Wait a minute, hold on. Stop right there.
Yes, ma'am.
So that was your whole voting philosophy.
No, because I did not vote. I just did not vote because I could not align myself with either party. It was the pushing point
to
Yeah.
make me start looking at conservatives because, like I just said, my children and my people are my first two things. Now, do I think that the Democrats or the Republicans give a fuck about my people? Not for real. But I'm trying to see who got the best interest in the type of programming that they give my child. Now, when I did start looking at conservatism, I started seeing how they trying to delete books about my people's history. So again, I was conflated again there. So
Oh,
it's
I
not
forgot
like
all about that. I forgot all
so
about
so
you trying.
HQ, I really want you to pay attention to me because I'm in the middle. I represent a lot of men that's in the middle, and we really just trying to find the best of two evils. And it is a
Yeah.
reason why we feel like that. So I can
Wait a
understand
minute,
why people vote.
hold on. Listen to this.
Mhm.
The best of two evils. I know, even if I would not vote Democrat, I know I would never go and vote for a Republican.
But
Those
I never
those
have.
are my downfall.
And I never have, but I considered it, and I considered it for a few reasons, and I
Mhm.
think, and the biggest reason is because Democrats are losing touch with my demographic, young black father. They
Yeah.
are losing touch with us, and
Right.
is pushing people down this rabbit hole. Now, I do not like black conservatives like
Mhm.
Brandon Tatum. I really don't care too much about Candace Owens, but
Mhm.
Brandon Tatum in particular, the Myron Gaines, the Hodge
Mhm.
twins, these
Mhm.
type of people, because they denigrate our people. And I'm never going to fuck with people that demonize our people and spread
Right.
false propaganda. But
Right.
but it would behoove the Democrats to
Yeah.
really
Yes.
tap into that base,
I get it.
you know.
Yes.
Okay,
I mean,
I don't never.
Democrats are fucked up out here, but I
Yeah.
don't care how fucked up they are out here. I ain't voting for y'all Republicans. That's for damn sure.
But
I won't vote if I got to
even
be
though
over.
See,
I don't agree with a lot of stuff Osmo said, one thing he did say is he is a younger voter. So
Yeah.
the things that you don't even really pay attention to the voting scene, most of us, when you 18 and in your 20s. So once you start growing up and these things really start affecting you and you
Mhm.
start looking at them, that's
Mhm.
this is the he's 30. I'm 35. This is the demographic, like 25 to
Mhm.
40 is the
Mhm.
focus. But the first person I ever was legally allowed to vote for was Obama. I
Mhm.
voted for him twice back to back
Mhm.
without even thinking about politics,
Mhm.
just because
Mhm.
he was black. So I
Right.
didn't really start paying attention to politics until Hillary ran for office.
Here's my thought on this.
Mhm.
There's 20, 30, 40 things that will concern you around this world, concern you around this country, concern you around your city or your state. Do not be a one issue voter. Do not vote for a party because they want to pay the rich or they want to give the rich tax cuts. Do not vote for a party because they want to take care of the homeless. Do not vote for a party for one issue only. A lot of people vote for one issue. You cannot vote for one issue when you're voting for the collective of this country.
but
You cannot do
CHQ,
that.
this is like playing Twister. There's so many things I could take from the left. Okay, I will take that. And there's something I'll take from the right. And then you get to bipartisan, but you're not able to do that. So
But
all I
see,
end up,
no,
all I,
this is how you do it, and this is the only way you can do it. What is important to this country and your family? What's important to this country and your
and
family?
that's how I end up on the red side. They
So, and I, and
focus
I
more.
say, what's country? I told you what was important to me: poor people, homeless, making sure that we have immigration laws. That's important for me. Important that y'all take care of people that live in Palestine. Making sure that you stop
That's
the war.
micro. That's micro. I get it.
And so
Majority
I'm
of people
saying,
on the right is macro. So
And
again,
I'm saying, don't sit there and say, "Oh well, the left, the left side, the Democrats only care about the gay people," and then you vote Republican
we
because
no. I
Democrat.
just
No, that's
no
I
consensus.
know, I know. I'm just saying, don't sit there and say that just because we believe in including gay people in our agenda. I can't go with the gay people, so I
Well,
can't go with the Democrats.
it
Don't
it
do that.
it
Do your due
feels like
diligence about stuff.
since Obama was in office, it did feel like, and it does feel like, the gay people were put ahead of us with a lot of other people. I even say the Asians too, because there was a lot of Asian laws that was written into effect since Obama. So it's like, damn, when are somebody going to say we can take care of this community, that community, this community? Why does it have to be so taboo just to fuck with the black community? And I understand that it's bigger than Democrat or Republican when it comes to that, because it's really the fight for the country. That's why so many white people are conservative, because they know that we're the only other people that can claim this country. So that it's never gonna be, they're never gonna do us like the Native Americans, the Chinese people, the Asian people, the gay people, because they feel like if they start paying us anything, they're admitting to guilt. And it's like
Yeah.
anything that they do for us is going to be just a
Reparations, you mean?
percent.
Reparations, right? Okay.
It's even more than just reparation. It'll just be a percentile of what they really owe us. And then it's going to open a whole can of worms that they don't really want to open, about how, who we are and what we are in this country. But I think we owe reparations. And I think we owe a whole lot more from everything that happened after slavery. It ain't even just slavery. So,
I just remembered something I meant to say. This is something I meant to say. I meant to say this because I talked to somebody earlier today, and they were like, the black people and the white people in X, Y, and Z. And then this person is Sue Pratter just said, you all have a divisive mind attitude. Us against them, black against white. I want to say this one thing. Please hear me. Black people, in true form and context, we do not hate white people. And we understand that white people currently are not responsible for the things that were put in place and having people in cages and people in slavery. We understand that. We don't hate white people. The problem is this. You white people know that your relatives put stuff in place to keep us down, to keep us in our place.
Every race, not just blacks.
Hold on.
No tether talk, brother. No tether talk.
It's every race,
Hold
not just
on.
blacks.
No, it's not every other
Keep
race.
us down.
Every other race ain't go through what we've been through. So keep that tether talk over there, dog. Don't disrespect.
What tether talk? That's
Don't
every
disrespect.
race. They've gone after
We're not
everybody.
talking about every race. We're
They've
talking
kept
about our
everybody down.
experience. Our experience ain't been everybody experience through hundreds and hundreds of years. So that's tether talk.
So I'm saying we do not hate white people. What it is this is the problem that us black people have with white people today. You know that your ancestors put things in place to keep us down. You know, as white people today, that there are such things as systematic racism, and it was built into the system long ago, and it continues to this day. And white people today continue to let it happen. That's the problem that I have with white people.
And that was one of my biggest problems with Charlie
stand
Kirk,
there,
because
and you
my
stand
bad.
there and you say nothing when you know that this is what's going on. That's the problem I have with white people. You understand systematic racism. You understand that there are systems in place to hold us back, and yet you do nothing. That is why I have a problem with white people. That's it.
And just to add to that, Charlie Kirk keeps saying, well, in the last 100 years, black people couldn't invest and do this and do that. And it's so disingenuous. And that's what the right do a lot. That's what conservatives and conservative blacks do a lot. Just lift yourself up by your bootstraps and all that shit. Like, you weren't killing and bombing and destroying us and then systematically destroying us every step of the way. And it's been going on since the 90s. And it's just like, oh, yeah, well, that's imaginary. That's just in your head. No, it's not. It was not just slavery. Everything that's happened to us has been going on since slavery ended to the 1990s. The Ku Klux Klan wasn't even invented until after slavery. They did it. It's not like, oh, you got released and Charlie Kirk even got a video talking shit about Juneteenth. So it's like that mindset, y'all would rather us be in chains and be in the servitude. And that's what Black people have a problem with. It's not that we can't get over slavery. The mindset of the same people that was going on in slavery are still in your heads today. Y'all have been passing it down with your white culture, with the culture of mass deletions, mass crowd deletions. The same mindset that go in today is the same mindset that is just hateful, it's spiteful. That man got killed by another white man. Why are HBCUs being threatened? Because it's a violent knee-jerk response. Anytime anything happen, oh shit, we finna go. And it's been like that since the thing on fire hoses and German Shepherds been getting sick on us. Anytime shit ain't going right or somebody attack what they got going on, we the ones that get blamed for it. Like we done did something to anybody. We ain't never did shit to anybody. And that's why there were so many agencies making sure that we never got together in the site and rioted and just burnt this place down because they know we got a reason to and we don't. Because we is not who we are. We don't walk in fucking buildings and just start shooting everybody because we ain't get a prom date. This is not who we are. And you want to blame gang violence and all of this type of things, but you don't want to blame the type of circumstances that the government did to put us in these conditions. It's disingenuous. You have no argument if you can't look at the entire plate. I have no problem with taking responsibility for my people and what my people need to do better. But if you're not going to take an entire look at everybody who's to blame for everything in the exact timeline, we can go from 1999 in reverse, then you disingenuous and you racist and you're a bigot.
Okay.
That's
See, but then we got to clean up our community. We get all of that. But do any of y'all know anything about the Jim Crow laws? When Osmos, when you talk about Charlie Kirk, everything he was criticizing, civil rights, the Voting Rights Act, Brown versus Board, he was criticizing all the things that were put in place to get us away from the Jim Crow law. Jim Crow laws were laws that enforced racial segregation in the United States. That's why Civil Rights Act was started. That's why Voting Rights Act was started. That's why Brown versus Board of Education started. We got those acts
back then, but
hold on. We got those rights. We got those laws put into place to dismantle Jim Crow. But even though the Jim Crow laws, those segregated laws are gone, systematic racism and inequality still belongs here. It's still here. It's still in disparities in housing. It's still in education. It's still in the way police stop us because we Black. It's still in there because of the voting access. They still trying to make it hard for Black folks to vote. They still trying to do that. Those are systems that are plagued by systematic racism. And when white folks sit there and see that those still are systematic things that are holding us back and they don't say anything, I got a problem with white folks. That's why I got a problem with them. It ain't that I don't like white people.
Well, you got the wrong problem with white folks. I'm gonna just say they not actually worried about.
No, that is no.
They're
That's
not worried
tether
about
talk.
you, but
You keep
they're not worried
blaming
about
little
you.
hats. You
I
keep
know.
blaming
I'm just
little
saying.
hats. That's what
I'm
racist
just
white
saying they're
people
not
do.
worried about you.
Hold on, Ty.
Little hats wasn't. Stop blaming little hats for everything. That's that.
That's not little hat. That's not little hat, sir.
Yeah, that's what they
I'm just
do.
saying
That's what they do.
They're not worried.
That has nothing to do with little hats.
In the
They
bigger
want
spectrum,
to they
No.
want to blame the little hats on everything
I
because
don't
it
know
makes
about
them
that.
look better. It makes them look better because and he just got a whole bunch of white talking points. That's what
I
white
don't got no
conservatives
white
do.
talking about. I'm
They
just
they
freely
they
talking. You
they
coming
the
up
white
with the narrative.
the white conservatives always blame the little hats because it makes them seem like we're just Americans. It was the little hats that started slavery. It was the little hats that did this. It was the little hats that did that. That's just a way. That's just the same way that they say 13% of the population commit 50% of the crime. It's just propaganda. Do either one of y'all know what the Homestead Act is?
Don't jump. Wait, y'all jumping with different stuff
It's
you're throwing out there.
Do
it's
do
something
do
that tries to
HQ,
address the
what's the
do,
disparity
HQ?
in housing.
did you know what the Homestead
It's
Act was?
something that is something that's put into place that is supposed to address the disparity in housing. I know
The
that's
Homestead Act was when we were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule, and instead, when Abraham Lincoln was supposed to give us 40 acres and a mule, and he was assassinated, the Homestead Act it reversed what he had set in place to give us our 40 acres and a mule, and instead it awarded the treasonous
let me help you
Confederate
out, Vo.
South
Let me help you out.
all of our land.
Go ahead.
It gave all of the people that fought for the Confederacy, the people from the South that was committing treason to America, it gave them all of our land basically for free. And when you build companies during that time that still exist to this day. That's hundreds of years of wealth that was built
Right.
from our pain and death. So all of that tether talk and it's the little hats and everybody go through
I
it.
never
No, that's
once said.
bullshit.
Not
That's
once.
bullshit.
Even if it's the little hats, they're
I don't
still
know about
white.
the little hats thing
They're
you
not
saying,
black.
but I ain't say that.
Even if hold on, even if they are the little hats, they're still white. They're not black. So that still means they put shit into place. Even though I'm not saying that they did, I'm saying they're not black. So whatever the laws that are in place that the white hats, the little hats put in place, or the white people put in place, it still was against black people. So it don't matter who put it in place. It just matters that we still have this systematic problem with housing, education, policing, and all the other things. People don't see it because it's normal. It's normal. You see it's normal. I go over there and they do experiments all the time. White person go over there, they tell them the house costs $10,000. Black person go over there, they tell them the house costs $20,000.
That was redlining. No, okay, yeah, it go into a network, into a web of things. Y'all just get
So I'm
stuck in.
saying that stuff still exists today. And white people know it exists today and they don't do anything to stop it. So if you know
they fighting each other, they fighting each other in that regard. But I'm gonna speak to the part where you're talking about the Jim Crow thing. Me, I'm all for segregation because back in those times, from what I saw with Malcolm, what I learned from Malcolm, what I learned from Martin, is that he would say that they said like the Negroes are trying to like assimilate to the American reality and the American concept of doing things. And that's valid for back then because they want to be seen as people and treated equal and treated fair. But as you trickle it down to where we get to in this point in time, I'm like, I think black people need to separate and segregate and build ourselves up because now, after what he was saying, with the bombing and the Wall Street and all things we tried to create back in those times, they could get away with them doing what they're doing and with the act of violence and going with the hoods and the kind of stuff like that. Now, in this day and age, we don't need to keep worrying about that now. Now we can actually come together. I've seen plenty of black folks come together, pitch in to buy land, buy real estate. We can do it again. But if we so hell bent saying they this and they that, I'm like, what? We don't have to work. Right now, if we have kids and we're raising them, they don't. If we have our black kids and our black children, they don't know about that. We don't need to spend our time trying to tell them, let them know how they've been doing this. Not even we can just show them from this point in time that you can buy this and you can do that. You can learn this and become this with your life.
So you believe that just because there's systematic racism or there's systematic things in place to hold us back, that we shouldn't be worried. We suffering from the victim Olympics. and
No,
blah.
look, if we suffer for it, we gotta bite that bullet, and that's something that we lived and went through. But now the kids we raise and generation we raise after us, don't need to be concerned with that. They don't need to be trying to fight some kind of like pseudo war
This
or
is
ghosts that
right.
we had that
Because you don't
that
believe
our
that
grandparents
it's
faced.
systematic racism.
So
Because you
you think that is no right? What you think that is over? You think that this shit's
I did
still
don't.
not
not
say
going
anything
on?
about it being over. I'm saying if
You
we
said it's a
overcome.
pseudo war.
No, I said the things that we face or the people before us, we can't be fighting their ghosts and those battles that they already died
Wait a
for.
minute. Do you believe Donald Trump is racially motivated and sends dog whistles? Do you believe that?
I might know. I don't be stunting Donald Trump like that for real. For he funny at times, but I don't be pressed about the man like that for real for all day,
He
every
definitely
day.
sent dog whistles. That's why we had them people raid the fucking redneck ass motherfuckers raiding the Capitol. And he sent the dog whistle yesterday over the Charlie Kirk thing when he blamed the left for it, which is terrible. You're
That's
in
what they
effect
do in politics.
in
That's
the
what they
whole
do.
No.
yeah, but
No.
Donald Trump has a violent core base that's stupid as fuck
You
in the
got them
middle of
on both
America.
sides, and it don't even
So
matter.
the
No,
thing, and
no,
it's
no, you ain't.
been,
No, I'm not
and
gonna
in
let. I'm not gonna
in
let you say that the left has gotten vitriol.
and in the
I
last
said
10
they got
years,
them on both sides.
Now,
in the
I'm not
They
gonna
last
let
give.
10
you say
I
that.
years,
said
it's
they
It
been
go.
more
I
Republican
can't get.
political terrorism from the right. And they don't blow
And
it
on
up to the
both
point.
sides, and at the end of the day, on both sides, both of them motherfuckers is like, I don't
no,
really give a fuck about
no,
that shit for real.
no,
It
no,
it,
no,
it gets away from the
no,
point what I'm trying to
no,
explain. On
no.
What's the
both
point?
sides, all them people be crashing out. It be white folks end of the day. On both sides, it's still white people,
It is on
regardless.
it out of the last 30 years, it has been
That
five
don't matter.
Democratic Democratic
See,
people who have shot guns, who have hurt people. Five Democratic people.
They
It
all
has
been
been
black or white.
20, it has been
They all been
20
they all been black
Republican
or
people. Hold
they all
on.
been
they,
Hold on.
they were white.
They have been
okay then.
20
So I don't.
Republican
Again, that's why people beefing
people.
white people.
Hold on. It's been 20 Republican people who have picked up guns and did violence on the right side. It has been five Democrats on our side. It is more on the side of the
H-
Republicans. Look it up. It's a fact.
HQ.
That's
I was
cool,
just
but
I
that's
was just
still.
watching this video about how this dude left a manifesto about how he's trying to do work for Trump and he knows that what he's doing is going to help push this was during his campaign. So this was like in the last 2 or 3 years. He
Mhm.
went into Walmart right outside of Mexico in Texas, on the border of Mexico and Texas, and shot up as many Mexicans as he possibly could,
What?
and left the manifesto saying he's doing it basically for Trump. And he was just a sad incel. And this is the thing: the mentality is they are losers, and then they go to the conservative party and they get a purpose. And that's why they so blindly allegiant to it. And I've been really honing in. And once I read that, I started looking into all of the mass shooters, all of the same MO. All of them got the same MO. It's like they breeding these motherfuckers. So when you got so keeping that in mind, then you got somebody that's damn near inciting violence on a group of people. Then you got people like Osmond Gold, who's a fucking conservative, talking about, yeah, the Democrats won't care until this start happening to their political leaders. They're dog whistling to these incels that are really the true terrorists. The whole time I've been alive, America has made everybody out to be a terrorist. Whether it's the Arabic people, black people, whoever, they are the fucking terrorists. It's the white men in this country that are the terror. They are the biggest domestic terrorists in the world.
That's true. That's what Farrakhan used to say. I watched
And
Farrakhan a
and
lot.
and and it's tied directly to conservatism and that true one American vision that people like Charlie Kirk and Nick
Christian
Fuentes and
ideology.
Donald Trump talk about. It's
That's a
all
Christian.
linked. It's all
That's a
linked
Christian.
together.
I think the reason why I think Trump got reelected was because They're very good. The Republicans are very good with stoking the cultural wars, transgender, gay people, tampons in the bathroom, the abortion issue. And they're good at bringing those things up. And you know what I saw today? I saw a picture of that girl who got stabbed in the neck by that black guy. Y'all know that picture? You know, the guy with the red hoodie who standing over the white girl. He killed the white girl. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, I seen
Yeah, I
it.
was
We talked
muted. My
about it 2
bad.
days
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I think he was a
I saw
tether
it.
too,
And
HQ.
she's looking at him, right? She's looking at him. On the front of that picture was, "This is what Democrats gonna let happen."
See, and you know what's crazy? I think he was a fucking tether for real.
And
I
this
don't
and
think
this
he was
thing got
FBA.
way out of control. This thing got way out of control. What does that man have to do with the Democrats? Why would you even put that on a picture? This is
They
what's
try,
going to happen if you let Democrats lead Democrats back into the White House. This
you
is
know,
what
they they trying to incite civil war, and I think
No,
that the
they're
way
good
that
at the culture. They're good at the culture. Gays, lesbians, AB, murder. Let me control your neighborhoods. They're very good at that. Just I'm telling you, we gonna meet back here. We gonna meet back here a couple months from now, and you gonna see. Just watch for the change. The Democrats open. How many people in this damn chat said to me, the Democrats let the borders be open? How many people said that? And the Democrats didn't let the borders be open. How many people said that in the chat? Nobody lets the borders open. We don't have any borders over there on the Mexican side. They don't
I might
have
have
any
said that
walls
a couple
there.
times.
So, but how many times did people say it in the chat? How many times did the people in the chat say, well, we got tampons in the men's bathroom? What? How many people got up here and said, oh, Charlie was an amazing guy? Then I had a whole that same handful say he wasn't a good guy. If half the people say he ain't a good guy and half of the people say he ain't a good guy or is a good guy, then I don't trust him. That means he lied to some people somewhere along the way. Because if you got that many people jumping on each side, he's a liar somewhere.
This is wait. So what you saying? This is about the same situation with the OJ case when OJ Simpson, when that case fell out, it was some people that was like he did it and then he didn't do it. It's all based off of the coverage. But when you look at the trial and how it went down, there was so much corruption and stuff going on and hiding evidence and
Yeah, but it's
a
always
lot
a
of
knee-jerk
so
reaction with black people.
no. So I'm
People
saying
do
it's
a
like
crime, it's always a knee-jerk reaction
no.
for
My
them to
thing
say
is
it's not busy
in
enough.
totality, you can't even. They still hated him till the day he died. Whatever the case may be, is that
Hey
if
man,
you get
why
it
you jump all the way back to the OJ case when you wasn't even
because they
alive?
was divided. They was divided in that whole scenario through the
But it's
whole
always going to
process.
be a race thing in this country.
I
It's
got
always
you.
going to
Always,
be a race
And
thing.
that's
always.
I got you. So what I'm saying, when you say one side gonna say he was a good person, one
Oh
side
no,
gonna say
no,
he was a
no!
bad
That ain't
person,
it. Ain't the same. It ain't
you
the same.
just
It's
said that there's gonna be a divide. So what
because
I'm saying is
I laid out to you. You have been listening. You have been programmed. You're being programmed. It's
by
something that you
who?
don't
I
know.
use
You've
I
been online
use
Yeah,
all this
you
time.
definitely being
by
programmed.
You've been
who?
programmed.
I
Because
formulate
how
I
my
can
can
you,
tell by the way you
how can,
talk that you've been programmed.
how
But
can
that's
by
you,
okay.
who?
That's
how can you?
okay. That's okay. That's okay. You've been
I'm
online
not saying y'all
all your
anything. Y'all
life.
the only ones that throw out
You've
labels about
been
being programmed.
you've been
I don't say
online.
anything
Your most
about you guys being programmed. I don't say that, but y'all say it to me.
Because we don't talk like we program. Me
It's
and
not
HQ
about the
on
way
two
you talk.
different.
I
because
listen to
Okay,
how
so
not
you.
look,
sitting here
I
saying
wanna.
how
we're not
you,
I wanna
sitting here
hear how
saying
you.
that we love a person that calls black people inferior. We're not sitting here
yeah,
saying that. You
yeah.
are.
How you align yourself with
I've
somebody
never
who
said
has?
nothing about any of that, but you guys saying
Okay,
I am. At no
how
point
do
have
No,
you?
I
But
said
you
this.
wait a minute, hold on, hold
the
on.
way you feel about Charlie Kirk and
I
his
don't
talking
feel
points
no
against.
way. I look at a person objectively and what they've
Yes.
done and how they've treated people
Okay,
is what I'm going off of.
Wait a minute, hold on,
And
so
hold on,
that
Ty Pro. Hold on, Ty Pro. Hold on.
okay, I got you.
Because at the beginning of this conversation, I said to you, Osmos, I said to you, If I am a plant, I'm a plant. I need water, sunlight, and dirt. If you damage the dirt, take away the water, and you take away the sun, then I die. I, as a black woman, is the plant. It's an analogy, okay? I need black support around me. If Charlie Kirk was taking a hammer and chipping away at that black support, MLK, he wasn't a good man. Civil Rights Act, we don't need that. DEI, we don't need that. Black women ain't smart. We don't need black women because they're not smart. If you try to destroy everything that surrounds me, then you don't like me. He does not like me as a black woman, Osmos. That is what I am telling you. You saying you don't see that. And you know that he said civil rights was not any good. You know he said
No, he actually said that
hold on.
it
You
worked
heard him
against.
say that. That's
I
all
heard
you
him say
need to
that it
that's all
worked
you need to
against
know.
black people later on. Initially,
Civil rights.
it
You
was
also
right.
heard him say civil
And you
rights didn't need to
still
be
trying to
in the you said you heard him say Civil Rights Act didn't need to be there, that it wasn't no good. You heard him say right here, and I played the clip. Oh well, you said they wasn't smart. Y'all said y'all wasn't smart. I ain't saying you smart.
No, that was affirmative action. Wait, you talking about the clip on TYT or the one that I
No, I'm
had?
talking
Because
about
you didn't play the one.
the one on TYT
Oh,
where he said
that the
that you
women
black women,
themselves.
yeah. So
Yeah,
you wasn't even smart enough to do X, Y, and Z. Oh my
yeah.
God. I have to think if a black pilot is there, I got to think whether he's competent enough. If you try to damage everything that's around me,
That's not everything that's around you. Only to the people that is applicable
Okay,
to.
so what do you,
Because that would then
Osmos,
mean
Osmos, what do you feel about his comment about the pilot?
I never be using about my feelings. Y'all be everything be emotional. When I hear feel, I be like,
Okay,
why
what do you
y'all so
think? What do you
sensitive
think?
about shit?
I'm
I
not
don't
in
be
my
getting my feelings about shit. I don't.
I'm not in my feelings. I just
So
know he
give
doesn't
me
like
your
me.
opinion
That's
about it
all.
then. Give me your thoughts about it, whatever you
About
want to
what? What was it?
his comment about the pilot.
The comment about the pilot, and I was
Yep.
like, yeah, he makes sense. If you try to force 50% of people
Okay,
to
how
be
do it make
able,
sense?
yes, it makes sense. If you because I again, this was in the playlist I told her to give. This same argument was brought up with the NBA. When you use one thing to another thing, there's okay. If we made the NBA 50% mandatory, that had to be white people, white men. How would it affect the actual level or the attention of people watching the sport? And they was like, well, it'll degrade it a lot because majority of the best players are black people. There's no issue with that. We know who the best players are and who
So you
really work
saying
the
the best
hardest.
pilots are white?
No, he said that if you try
No,
to
I'm actually that's
force,
what you're saying.
no, he said if you force, they said they want to put in quota DI to make it mandatory for it to be 50% black people or women. They was like women or blacks. So
Why do
they
you
was
think
like, so
that
that
they
means they're just
why do
gonna
you think
hire
that
you. They're just
why
gonna
do you think
hire
that
you
they would
based
do
off
that?
of you being a woman or being black, just because they want it to be that way.
So they would
And
hire me off the street with no experience and no pilot license?
you can have some qualifications, but like again, I think pilots is like what 3%. Black people represent like 3% of it, but then they want to make it mandatory as 50. So yes, you can miss a few things because there was a person that actually had that issue where it was a guy who crashed the plane and he was supposed to be qualified, but they didn't really do no background checks. They hired him. He failed plenty of tests, and I forget what that was, but he
Callie
crashed the
Collins, I don't know where you get that lie from. That's a complete and total lie. He don't
he
have no
crashed
Yeah,
experience.
bro, you sound very hypnotized, man. I'm
he
sorry,
crashed the
God.
plane, and whatever the case may be, I was like, wow, certain people can fall through the cracks and you can get a job and land a
You
job.
don't think
And
that you
then
don't think white people crash planes?
I didn't say that they didn't. So y'all ask a question with a question when that's not the whole point of what we
Because
going to.
You know what?
sound so programmed.
I hope the guy the next time I get on the plane that the pilot ain't white.
Me
Cause
too, HQ. Me
I
too.
don't know whether he's competent enough to drive the plane.
HQ, me too.
In your mind, that statement would first thing you would say is, why would she say that?
I wouldn't.
He
I
too
don't. I don't know if that's what
Why would you say that? So
he too hypnotized to realize what he's
why wouldn't
saying.
you say the same thing when Charlie Clerk said that about a black man. Why wouldn't you say that?
We use
Same thing.
again when you use that
Because
example
in
when you
his
use
mind
the
we're inferior.
example when you use the example in this context, we have to again. I'm not saying that all white people are better pilots and whatever shit that it is, but
But you
the
would
same
never have thought, you would have thought I was crazy if I would have said that.
no.
Now, why would you have thought I was crazy if I said,
I
man,
would
I
not
hope
thought
he
that.
ain't
You
white.
tell me what I would
I hope
think.
they're
I would
white.
just want to know how you came up to whatever you said
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
shit.
my
Once you
point
tell me,
exactly. So
once
why
you
would you?
tell me
So
what it
why would
is,
we think
I'll
I was?
no. Once you tell me whatever it is you think and how you got to thinking, I cannot tell you no. You can't think that.
Okay, so why would
Certain
y'all?
things
So
have
why
to
would y'all
happen.
say that?
Certain
Why would
things
y'all
have.
say that? Hold on. Why would
That's
y'all
what they
say
came. He said because they wanted to input DEI to force it that so 50% of the people that you hire, firefighters would be women, half of the staff would be women, pilots would they say they want to incorporate that. So once they put that into place and they try to
no, no,
follow
no,
that,
no, no, no,
you're
no, no.
going to
So why would you
affect.
automatically think? So why would you automatically think that he's not confident because he's black?
What do you mean? That's what they said that they're going to
Or
do.
he may or may
They
not.
said
You
women
don't wait a
or
minute, hold
black.
on, Osmos. Here's the thing. You don't walk up to no plane and say, nobody walks up to a plane and says or questions the pilots that are sitting in the seat if they white.
You know what? Nope. And what they do is they don't even think about the pilot until they
Don't
see them
even
and they're
think
not
about
white. And they not white. Then
That
they
was
like,
I did
oh,
see a skit like that. That was funny. I think
hold
that was
on.
a Coldplay skit.
So HQ, they don't think about it until that pilot is not white. When they walking
right.
on the plane and they
Right.
see that pilot, he's not white. Then they're like, oh shit, I
And
got
then
I
a
give
black.
you a good
Hold on, hold
example.
on,
that
I
hold
was
will
on.
give
black
you
people
an
Oh,
that
even
made
they
better.
like, they
Wait a minute,
like,
hold
they
on, hold
like,
on.
oh
I
shit, I
will
got
give
a
you an
black
even
pilot. I hope
better
he
example.
qualified.
that
Hold
was a
on.
black
I will
people
give you an
joke.
even better example.
You
When
got a better
motherfuckers,
example?
when people used to walk into doctor's offices and see them Indian people,
Ooh,
and then they used to be like, why I got an Indian doctor? Because it's a reaction to maybe they're not competent. Same.
That goes back to what they call it. That's prejudice or stereotypes.
My point
So
it's
exactly.
bigotry. It's bigotry. A cousin to racism, Osmos.
So why would you even question the why would you even question, oh, I hope he ain't black if he's the pilot?
why would
Same
you why
thing.
would you question it? That's the example that they said again. He said again, this is explained. DEI was going to implement that you're going to hire based off of you just
And
DEI
what
is
what do
not
you
being
oh
based
my
off
what
of
God,
color.
I'm trying to say the rest of the point. You either being a woman or you being a certain race, black or whatever it is. We just use black as the first thing because in any conversation, we use black or white as the main two racial groups in America. We don't say white or Mexican. We use black as the like default setting when we have something to like compare the two. Anyway, when he said that they're going to try and implement DEI when it comes to hiring pilots, it would be from 3% to 50%. So maybe you can pass or you qualify, but they're going to do it to meet the quotas. So that means the quality of people that you get may or may not qualify, but they're doing it just to fill the quota. The
but
same way back, I
do you
remember,
think that every white pilot is qualified?
no, I don't
Or
think every white person is qualified.
Well,
so do
well,
you
well,
think
why
the
are we worried
odds
about
is the
color then?
same? Yeah.
Huh?
Why you worried
Why are
about
we
color
worried
then?
about the other people then?
What do you mean? Why am I worried?
You ain't worried about whether the white people are see, you don't even understand what
Because he's
you don't even
programmed,
understand.
HQ. He don't
No,
even
y'all
see
saying
it.
two different things.
He's
You saying why
No,
am I?
your default is expecting white to be right all the time.
I
yep,
did
So
not
you
yep.
don't
expect that to be white. They said that they're just going to implement women or blacks or
So
whatever race they was putting in to
okay,
be able to fill the quota.
I ask it to you like this. So they got one hand, they trying to fill the quota, right? You with me?
That's corporate, yeah.
You following me here? What up, though? For sure. So they trying to fill the 50% of the quota, and your concern is because they trying to hit the quota, they
Mhm.
might not hire
They gonna
all
hire a
qualified
retard.
people.
Dog
Right,
tie. They
right,
gonna
right.
hire a
Hold on.
retard,
Hold
even though
on.
the retard is black. They gonna hire the
And
retard.
then we asked you, do you think all the pilots that are get hired are qualified? You said no. So if the fact that on one side, all white pilots that get hired not going to be qualified, Of course, all black or Mexican or women pilots they hire ain't gonna be qualified because that's the way
Wow.
hiring works, right?
They're
So why is it?
hiring
So
people is
why?
based
Hold
off of
on.
they.
So why is it so important that all of the DEI hires be qualified, or there's a big magnifying glass on the fact that they might not be hired when even though the however many percent of white pilots it is ain't gonna all be qualified. Some of them are getting drunk and crashing planes, but there's no concern about that.
There is concern about that. They report crashes on a regular basis.
But
They actually have flight logs for that. You can see we have about
yeah, you
1,000.
brainwashed, dog. You brainwashed. You can't even.
We have
You
about a
it's just
thousand.
you conditioned to miss it, to miss the point.
I'm not conditioned to miss anything. You trying to state two separate arguments and after that tell me, well, why is it this way? Why is it that way? And I'm saying in that scenario we're talking about, when I'm keeping it there, y'all bring outside ones and bring into this one. The scenario I'm talking about with what we speaking on
So
is
you
the
honestly think,
degradation.
wait a minute, you honestly think that that man who's in charge of what the hell is his name? Seghead. You honestly think he's competent, more competent than the person that was there, the black guy?
No, why y'all be saying you think
So the
no?
black
You
so
every person you get will not be that. Y'all stick everything as a blanket thing, like it's a monolith thing. When I get on one side, I'd say, yeah, everybody right. They know what the fuck they doing. I
no,
never say
no,
that. So
Osmos,
when
that's
you
not
got
what
one
we're
person,
saying. Osmo, what we're saying is every time somebody walks into a room, nobody questions the white boy standing there at the head of the table.
yes,
Like,
they do.
like
They always go after.
nobody does.
Yes,
They
they
always
do.
seem to think that he's
It's
the
look
smartest one in the
okay.
room.
Yes, they do. They always going after somebody's position. They always want to take a person off. They always trying to knock somebody off. They always trying to test what you is and
They
what you
who?
not. They
They
always do that. That's how they operate. It's a shark eat shark, dog eat dog mentality with them
Who is
people.
they?
So
Who is they?
them in their own atmosphere and how they operate in their corporate world and that political lifestyle, that job reality, they always want to take you out and get the next person in because why? They want to be the top dog in that shit. So you saying they don't question? Yes, they do. Any law firm, all that stuff, there's always competition. So they do question it. They don't want to know where you from, what you doing. It goes down to even families, who you know, your network, that whole background and stuff like that.
What's
So
up, man?
saying
How
that
you
they don't
doing?
question
Y'all
it,
got forks
they do want to know
right there.
about you and
Thank
get
you.
involved in your
Appreciate you.
shit.
so
Doing all right tonight.
so here's my question, Osmos. Why is it that why did they want to get rid of DEI when we had competent people working those jobs?
They said no, they wanted to get rid of that because they saw that it was not actually benefiting people. Just having this here, you hiring people and you not knowing whether or not they're actually producing anything.
And you know
That's
why
what happened with
DEI was put in?
hold on. That's what happened with X. When Elon Musk got in and he got a hold of Twitter, he cut like 70% of staff and it still works as efficient or better. So you want to cut the excess people that work in government, get these jobs, don't really produce anything, but they like sitting here and being comfortable. There's a lot of people that got on there to pay off their student loan debt. I think it was like in the most of federal jobs where they'll have these degrees into something, and if you work for like 10 years, they'll sort of pay off your debt, and then they'll just sit there and do that and just be leeching off taxpayer money. They get into certain jobs and stuff in government, and it's like, yo, this is a waste of money. These people need to provide and actually like be resourceful and useful to the government, be more efficient. So DL's not doing that. You just getting people that say they got this and they got
That's
that degree.
DEI
Some
only.
people, a lot of people actually had fake degrees. Some people they found out would had just give false credentials and they was able to get the job and they was just cruising under the radar for a long time until they finally got caught. And they didn't like that and they was having a fit about that. But that's when you actually look deep into it. So that's what became very critical now. We've seen like, oh snap, in every arena when you look into it, it's a lot of fucked up shit going on. So that's how I perceive it. But that's not being programmed. It's seeing the people that's crying and catching a fit, thinking that they was gonna get away and like mooch for a long time, and it's not fair, and this, and that. But yeah, what are you actually producing to help the country, the people as a whole? They don't want to help nobody like that. They want to just be
Where's all that
goofy.
extra money? Where's all that extra money we was going that wasteful and the Bruce money? Where that money at?
I can't tell you right now. I have to check. So
Right now,
there's a
right now in the rich people's pocket, right?
maybe it is, maybe it's not. I can't
Why
tell you
is it
because
that
when I
they
look
get that money and then
when you
help?
look when you look at the actual chart, Most of it goes into military funding and healthcare currently. That's where I see it goes into. But
It
again,
goes
it
to
changes.
healthcare currently. What healthcare?
It changes quarterly, so you have to check it every quarterly period on how they managing the money. But all I know is everybody be corrupt and they be stuffing their fucking pockets with shit. They be cutting funding and stuff that's supposed to be going to programs. A lot of it goes to police departments and all kinds of crazy shit that they use the money and blow it on. Even in California, that Newsom guy done wasted $15 billion over the past, I think, 10 years to build a railway system that we supposed to been have. We don't have EV gas stations. That was about what, $5 billion. They said they was gonna do that. It's been getting wasted for a long time since the Biden era, for all I know. So whatever these people do right now, I just know it ain't even been a year yet to see the results of what they're trying to fix.
Well, they not trying to fix anything. That's the
That
fallacy.
may be true in some regard, but they do something to an extent, and then that's what both sides do in my eyes. That's what I
No,
say.
no, don't
Both of them,
put
to
both
me,
sides in
don't
there.
really do
We ain't got
nothing.
nothing
One
to do
might
with
give
that.
you crumbs,
We
and one might
Democrats
give
ain't
you
got nothing to do with what's going
shit.
on right now. It's all Republican. It's all Republican. Ain't got
Not
nothing
it
to
hasn't
do
been
with
a
it.
year yet. Like I said, oh shit, my phone about to die. I didn't even see that. I
But
left that shit.
we don't need a whole year. That's all we need is a couple more months, and we're gonna be in that recession. Give me your final thoughts, you all. This is a good discussion. I ain't mad at you. You got to do your thing. We're gonna go back and forth. It is what it is. We just gotta. Here's my thing. I wish people just everybody, sound of my voice, read. Don't go to the place where you normally go to get information. Go to a different place to get information. Don't go to the same place, because I see a lot of people in the comment. The Democrats ain't no good. Republicans ain't no good. You don't know anything until I seen you look at 5 Democratic things and 5 Republican things. And then you come and you can tell me what's the difference between the two. Otherwise, I don't believe you. When I hear you say the Democrats ain't no good, I don't believe you. That tells me you didn't do any research. If you tell me all Republicans ain't no Republicans no good, I don't believe you, because then that tells me you didn't do research. But I have done research on these things. I know what the Republicans stand for. I can't give you one single tenet except Christian moral values and X, Y, and Z. That's the only thing I can tell you about the Republicans. And they say I instead of we. I can tell you what the Democrats stand for. I can tell you what this, that, and the third. It depends on your priorities, whether you find this more important or this more important. Okay. I can tell you about both parties. Okay. If you can't tell me, I gave you a list of things that the Democrat like. Who don't want to help? You don't want to help you don't want to help the poor. You don't want to help the indigent. You don't want to help homeless veterans. You don't want to have Medicaid for everybody. Make sure everybody's covered with Medicaid. You don't want higher wages. You don't want the minimum wage raised. Then I'm just telling you that's what the Democrats are for. I don't care about LGBT. I'm not gay. I don't care about those. That agenda. They have their own agenda. The Democrats are for the LGBT. I get it. But these other things are more important on the Democratic side. Democratic side is 10, 20 things. Republican is for 10, 20 things. I just believe in these 10, 20 things, even if it includes the Transformer stuff, even though I don't give a damn about the Transformer stuff. Okay? But I do believe about the other things. I do care about the other things. That's why I'm a Democrat. And you can be a Republican. They showed us what they cared about. They had tax cuts for the rich, and they cut all those elderly and all of those disabled and all those homeless people off of Medicaid. They showed me what they cared about. That's why I don't vote for Republicans, because you show me what you care about. Okay? And that's what you have to decide inside your heart. What do you care about? Do you care about cutting rich people, poor people, bum Keisha off of food stamp? Is that your most important thing? You concern yourself about that more important? You concern yourself more about getting tax cuts to the rich? You concern yourself more about doing X, Y, and Z? Or do you concern yourself about doing X, Y, and Z over here? These are the things you have to decide on your own. Don't do a knee-jerk reaction. Don't do the knee-jerk reaction of whatever. I voted for George Bush because I thought he was the better candidate. And I ain't even no fucking Republican, but I thought he was the better candidate. See, I'll vote for a Republican if I think he's the better candidate. Okay? Because I agree on both of those. Okay? And I darn sure didn't want to vote for Biden. But I knew that I would not vote for Trump because I can't align with the rich people party. I cannot do that and deal with seeing homeless on the street and seeing disabled on the street and seeing the elderly. I cannot vote for the Republican and see this on the street. Just cannot do it. That's all.
Well said, HQ.
Okay. Okay, we gotta go.
I appreciate you for
I
letting me come up here.
I
For sure.
apologize if you felt bullied on Osmos. I apologize. Didn't mean to. Please feel free to come back up. I'm not gonna beat you up no more. We already done had this democratic discussion.
I didn't feel beat up. My phone's gonna die. That's what I was gonna say.
You know what I'm saying.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right, good night. Let you guys go. Thank you, Ty. I appreciate all of y'all showing up. I appreciate that. I love discussions. I wish more of y'all knew how to get up here on this damn platform. I don't know. Don't ask me. All I know is to get on this platform, you cannot come in on this link. You gotta do some kind of you gotta Google StreamYard, and then it's gotta be StreamYard regular. It can't be StreamYard content creator. It's gotta be StreamYard regular. And then you can put the link in there and then you can come up. That's the only way to come up on these platforms. If you do StreamYard, it's two different types of StreamYard. You got to come up on one, okay? So anyway, I appreciate all of y'all. Of course, we having these discussions. It's the weekend. We're going to have another discussion tomorrow. I'm going to try to find, okay, there's some shit that's going on in the world. Of course. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you coming up. White, black, Hispanic, all kinds of people. I accept you as you are. Come on in and sit on down. I appreciate it.